25 years, the Alabama Crimson Tide under Bear Bryant set the standard of excellence in the Southeastern Conference and the nation. But in the 90s, the Florida Gators, led by Steve Spurrier, have assumed the mantle and are the team to beat in the SEC. After being shut out for 2 seasons, the Gators are hungry for another conference title in 1999. Senior quarterback Doug Johnson is the focal point of a Gator team with lofty aspirations. The fun and gun offense is hitting on all cylinders with the emergence of receiver Darrell Jackson. And Alex Brown has put the fight back into the Gator D. Alabama is trying to overcome a tide of off-field distractions. Once again become a force in the SEC. Coach Mike Dubose is looking to rally the tide and return the focus to winning football as Alabama chases its first conference title since 1992. It's Alabama versus Florida. The Home Depot College Football on CBS Sports. The Swamp in Gainesville, Florida, where only Gators get out alive. And the Swamp of the University of Florida, home to the third-ranked football team in the land, where 30 straight opponents have become Gator bait. The 30-game home winning streak, the longest in the nation. And here come the Florida Gators with a record of 4-0. Florida Field, as always, sold out. More than 83,000 fans in attendance to welcome the Alabama Crimson Tide as they play a game in Gainesville for the first time since 1991. It's just the 8th trip ever to Gainesville for the Tide, which rolls into town with a record of 3-1, ranked number 21 in the nation. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome. I'm Sean McDonough, along with Todd Blackledge. It's great to have you with us as the Florida Gators try to start this season with a record of 5-0. It would be the 7th time in this decade that they will have done that if they're successful today. A couple of big questions for the Gators, Todd, when the season started. Would they be able to run the ball? They couldn't last year. And how would the defense play with 10 new starters? So far, so good on both fronts.
Yeah, they're running the ball extremely well. You can say what you want about the fun and gun. Bottom line, this team 76-1 when they outrush their opponents. Look at the difference between last year and this season, almost 75 yards better. They have 3 capable runners, but I think the key is their offensive line. They're playing very well, especially when you consider they lost their starting center in the first ball game, Zach Sedalis. Not only improved running game, but also have only allowed 3 quarterback sacks. When you talk about defense, 2 guys jump out when you watch film. Mr. Outside is Alex Brown, 9 sacks in 4 games, quickly pursuing the school record. And then Mr. Inside is Gerard Warren, a very quick guy off the ball, a great run stopper. 2 guys you can bet Alabama wants to know where they are and what they're doing on every play.
And one of the big challenges for the Alabama coaches when this season began was opening up the offense. Mike Dubose said he wanted to do that. The first 2 games, we really didn't see evidence of that, but last week against Arkansas, we certainly did.
Yeah, and you can look right to Charlie Stubbs, the play caller, the quarterback coach. This is what he was brought in for from UNLV. He did a great job last week, I think, of giving a lot of formations to Arkansas. Very aggressive defense, and then opening up with a few trick plays. Spread the defense. Make them declare if they're going to defend pass or run. Make them defend the whole field. And that allows you to get the football to Sean Alexander as many times as you want, but in the best opportunities to be successful. He's the key guy on the offense. Give him a chance to do well.
Down on the field where it's very warm, here's Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Sean. Well, Alabama defensive coordinator Ellis Johnson told me he has 2 objectives for his players this week. First, don't just pressure Doug Johnson, bring him down. Florida has allowed just 3 sacks all season. Alabama averages 4 a game. Number 2, make interceptions. Of 158 pass attempts against them this year, 22 have been broken up. Just 2 interceptions by Alabama. So in a drill usually reserved for wide receivers, every Alabama defensive back had to catch 100 footballs from a jugs machine every day this week week in practice. Too many dropped opportunities last week. Sean.
Thank you, Michelle, and stay cool down there today. It's 89 degrees. A little bit on the humid side. There is a breeze to try to cool things off, and the forecast is for partly cloudy skies, and that's what we have overhead at the moment. Alabama won the toss and deferred, so Florida will receive the opening kickoff with Bo Carroll, one of the speediest men in the country, back deep. He's an 8-time track All-American on the Florida track and field team, and Lane Bearden will kick off. The freshman who's done a good job driving kickoffs deep this season. One is underway. A high, relatively short kick coming down to Bo Carroll at the 7. Right up the hash marks and down at the 25-yard line. Roberto McBride on the kickoff coverage from Mike Dubose made the tackle. Here comes Doug Johnson, the senior, playing for his hometown university. He's from Gainesville, Florida, and is off to a fine start this season. Some say he's now on the fringe of the Heisman Trophy race, leading a much more balanced attack this season with the ability to run the ball, although Florida is playing today without its leading rusher, Ernest Graham, the freshman, out with a thigh bruise. They're also without their best receiver again, Travis Taylor, with an ankle injury. That ball thrown into traffic and incomplete. Just what Michelle Tafoya was talking about. They had missed opportunity after missed opportunity last week with interceptions, and Miguel Merritt was bemoaning his inability to come up with that one. The offensive starters for Florida around Johnson. Rob Roberts is a blocker for Robert Gillespie. And up front, the veteran group that Todd spoke so highly of. Many here in Gainesville believe this is the best offensive line in Steve Spurrier's 10 years here. 2nd and 10. Gators from their own 25. On the draw, it's Gillespie. Powering his way for 9 yards out to the 34-yard line, where Herschel Bolden made the tackle. Now Alabama defensively, the strength of the unit is up front. Kenny King is a true freshman who's made an immediate impact. The linebackers are Marvin Constant with Miguel Merritt and another true freshman, Salim Rashid. And in the secondary, Marcus Spencer is going to try to play with an oblique muscle strain that forced him out of last week's game against Arkansas. Kurt Wells, the tight end, shifted in closer to the line, and the run is stopped. Salim Rashid, whom the Alabama coaches say will be regarded as one of the all-time greats in Bama history when he leaves, made the first big play of the afternoon for the Crimson Tide defense.
One of the big keys of the game today: can Alabama's defensive line create penetration and dominate on the line of scrimmage? That time they got penetration. It freed up Rashid to come in and make the play, and a huge 3rd down play for the Crimson Tide.
Allen Ryan with a short nose-up spiral. It took a bad bounce for Florida. Then it's down to the 41-yard line. Just a 26-yard punt by the junior walk-on Ryan, who took over the starting punting chores after the 2nd game of the season. David Wazalewski. There is a flag down on the play, and the officials are conferring near midfield. We expect to see a lot of flags today. These are the 2 most penalized teams in the Southeastern Conference.
Well, not only was that a short punt by Ryan, but he was very lucky that he didn't get it blocked. He was a little bit slow in getting the kick off, and Alabama had good pressure on the football.
Steve Landis is the referee.
Illegal substitution. The man did not come in and get inside the numbers before the snap. That's a 5-yard penalty, but it'll be refused. First down.
Both coaches upset about their team's penalty problems. Mike Dubose particularly frustrated because most of Alabama's problems have been around the line of scrimmage, illegal formations, false starts, offside while on defense. Florida's had a particular problem with unnecessary roughness and late hits, penalties of that type. Andrew Zhao, the Florida native, is the Alabama quarterback. He immediately finds Sean Alexander. There's a flag down as Alexander went down at the 44 after a pickup of 3. Keith Kelsey made the tackle. There is another flag, and it's for a holding call against the Tide. The offense for Coach Dubose, Sean Alexander with McClintock, essentially a blocking fullback. Jason McAdley and Freddie Millens each over 100 yards receiving last week. And like Florida, Alabama has a veteran offensive line with the exception of the true freshman Dante Ellington at right tackle. Chris Samuels might be the best offensive tackle in the country. They expect he'll be a high first-round NFL draft choice, and that unit has more than 7,000 career snaps combined.
And for that reason, as good as Samuels is, I expect to see Alex Brown lined up opposite him most of the day against Dante Ellington, working against the true freshman instead of the senior Samuel.
They spread the field with 4 wide receivers, and they hand it off to Alexander. Andre Davis made the tackle, the middle linebacker, sophomore from Live Oak, Florida. The rest of the defense, Gurley and Warren, great run stoppers at tackle, and the outside presence of Brown, always a going concern for the offense. Eugene McCaslin, the converted running back, with Davis and Keith Kelsey, a first-time starter as a fifth-year senior. All sophomores starting in the secondary. Marquand Manuel is the leading tackler on the defense. He had 15 stops in their victory at Kentucky last week. And that defense held Hal Mummy's unit to 10 points, lowest in Mummy's 3 years as Wildcat coach. The short pass yields nothing. Perhaps a half yard. Freddie Millens tackled by Andre Davis.
That's a play that created a lot of problems for Arkansas last week. And we mentioned Alex Brown. When you make plays, you're going to get attention. Freddie Millens is the same way. He made a lot of plays last week, so Florida is going to pay extra attention to him. That was a zone defense, a good defense designed to stop that receiver screen.
3rd down and 16 upcoming. Alabama 38% 3rd down conversions this season. No score, just underway on a warm afternoon in north central Florida. Out of the shotgun. Zhao goes very deep and too long for Freddie Millens. Daryl Dixon, a true freshman, had the primary coverage.
2 outstanding players in this ball game. Again, Alex Brown is a much smaller player but quicker than Chris Samuels, but Samuels has great feet for a big guy. He's very athletic. That's why, again, I expect to see Brown on Ellington when they want to rush the quarterback with him rather than Samuels.
Darrell Jackson back for the punt from Patrick Morgan, the senior from Birmingham, averaging 42 yards per punt. That's returnable for Jackson from the 25. And he went shaking and baking out to the 34-yard line. A 40-yard punt and a return of 9 for Jackson. No score. Each team has had the ball once. Each has punted once. With Doug Johnson with hand signals to the wideout to the left. The fullback is Rod Frazier, was offset. The pass to Robert Gillespie. Fumble. Recovered by Marcus Spencer. And he's down to the 38-yard line. Salim Rashid knocked it out. Marcus Spencer recovered and returned it 13 yards. Florida now -3 for the season in turnovers. They played a whole game last week at Kentucky without turning it over once. And Steve Spurrier was all smiles about that yesterday, but he won't be happy about this.
Well, you could see the tackle came from the backside. Rashid with his arm on the football, and this is exactly what Alabama needed, Sean. Last year, they played the game 16-10. They lost. Florida helped them. 5 turnovers. They need the same kind of help here in the swamp from Florida. Great field position right now.
Both of these teams have had turnover problems and penalty problems all season. Alabama's turned it over 10 times in the last 2 weeks, 6 times in the win last week against Arkansas. Alexander with some nice moves. And a gain to the 32-yard line. He picked up 6 before Marquand Manuel, known as M&M to the folks in the Gator program, drove back Alexander, who's trying to make it 5 straight 100-yard rushing games. He had 165 last week against Arkansas. We were very impressed by what we saw from Sean. After the game, he said it was the worst game of my career. He was very upset about his 2 fumbles, uncharacteristic of him.
He made a lot of big plays, and when they needed a big run, he got it. But, you know, he's a perfectionist, and he knows that there's a lot of pressure on him. And those 2 fumbles, one was returned for a touchdown, very costly for his team.
2nd and 4. Alabama looking for the game's first score. On a quick count, they gave it to Alexander. And he showed his toughness and power. He's a good slashing, sliding runner, but he also showed his strength inside last week. That time he lowered his shoulder to run over the defender, and Alex Brown took him down after a gain of 2.
This Florida defense is very young. They're getting better each week, but they are very fast. You're not going to run sideline to sideline on them very much. You've got to run north and south against this defense. And Alexander has very good vision. He knows how to find those creases and those cutback lanes and hit them with some acceleration.
Big 3rd down and 2 for Andrew Zhao. 2 tight ends in the game. Sean Draper and Terry Jones Jr. Zhao, after the fake, has to throw. Caught for a first down to the 25-yard line by Freddie Millens.
Really nice job by Andrew Zhao making a decision under duress. Here comes Millens in motion. Again, it's zone defense. He's right there sitting down in the hole, and Zhao found him at the last minute. And Millens did a nice job of not moving from that spot, giving the quarterback a good target, letting him see both numbers, and picking up the first down.
What a week he had against Arkansas. Last Saturday, he had 7 catches for 109 yards and a touchdown. He threw a 66-yard touchdown pass to Jason McCadney. Marvin Brown, now the fullback, leading the way for Alexander. He picks his way down to the 22, where Buck Gurley and Marquand Manuel made the stop. And here's a look back at some of Freddie Millens' highlights from last Saturday in Tuscaloosa.
We've mentioned the wide receiver screen. This one he took early in the game for a touchdown. Got good blocking downfield. And then maybe the play of the game for Alabama that really fooled the Arkansas defense, the reverse pass. Millens, a former high school quarterback, laid it out perfectly for McAdderley. Key touchdown last week.
Bama playing today without Shamari Buchanan, one of their backup wide receivers who played in 4 and 5 wide receiver sets. He's suspended for this game. Brown had the grip on Zhao, who threw it left-handed, incomplete, and almost picked off. He was looking for Antonio Carter, but it was a little bit too high for him, and it was nearly intercepted by the Gators.
We'll take a look now. Here's Brown right on the bottom of your screen, working on Ellington. Again, the rookie, the freshman, got good pressure, quick pressure, and Zhao shows a little of his strength there at 221 pounds not to go down. But Alex Brown, if you get him one-on-one against a tackle, particularly a young tackle, he's going to have problems because he has a great jump, great anticipation of the snap count, particularly here in the swamp with the crowd noise.
3rd down and 7. Play clock at 2 as Zhao took the snap out of the gun, and that pass is complete but short of a first down to Freddie Millens. Marquand Manuel right there. Very little on the gain to the 19-yard line, and the field goal unit is coming on for Alabama.
I think what you're going to see from Florida a lot today, they did it to Kentucky last week. When Andrew Zhao's in the shotgun and there's 4 wide receivers, they're going to play a lot of zone defense. They're going to make him read the coverage and be patient and throw the football into the right spots. He did that time, but it was just short of the first down.
37-yard field goal try from Chris Kemp is good. The junior, Florida native from Jacksonville, gives Alabama the first points of the game. Steve Spurrier and the Gators down by 3 early, midway through the first quarter. Alabama capitalized on the Robert Gillespie fumble with a Chris Kemp 37-yard field goal. Bo Carroll waiting for the kickoff from Lane Bearden. Another short kickoff taken by Carroll on the run to the 11-yard line, running to his right. And knocked out as he crossed the 25. Good open field tackled by Sean Toure. Tomorrow, the NFL on CBS features doubleheader action. In the early game, many of you will see Mark Brunell drive the Jaguars into Pittsburgh to take on the Steelers. Some areas will see Drew Bledsoe and the unbeaten Patriots battle the Cleveland Browns. In the late game, most of you will see Bill Parcells try to rally the Jets against Terrell Davis and the Broncos. Check local listings. Beginning with Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry on the NFL Today. It's at noon Eastern time. Bo Carroll in at tailback. He and Gillespie considered interchangeable parts by Coach Spurrier. Gillespie just fumbled, so Carroll's in there. Johnson going deep for Darrell Jackson. He's going to go all the way for a Florida touchdown. 73 yards.
This was a great read by Doug Johnson because he knew he had single coverage with Jackson against Reggie Miles. No help over the top from the safety. Miles tried to cut underneath to make a play on the football, but he couldn't get to it. Good read, good throw, Doug Johnson to Darrell Jackson.
Jackson's 5th touchdown reception of the year, and the extra point good from Jeff Chandler. That didn't take long. Just one play for Florida to take the lead for the first time today.
7-3, Florida takes the lead. I can't believe this is what defensive coordinator Ellis Johnson wanted. Watch the two safeties here, Dixon and Spencer. As the play develops, they both collapse on the inside slot receiver. Outside technique by Reggie Miles. He has no help coming from the inside. A lot of field to work for with Darrell Jackson and Doug Johnson. Can't believe that was the way the coverage was designed for Alabama.
Longest reception of Darrell Jackson's career and the longest completion for Doug Johnson. And a booming kickoff. Jeff Chandler's kickoff not returnable, and a big improvement in this Florida team this season has been in the kicking game, really ever since the middle of last year when Chandler took over. Collins Cooper, now in law school, we're told, at Florida State. A booming kickoff by Chandler, who's done very well with the kickoffs, then with the point afters and field goal tries. He kicked a 49-yarder last week at Kentucky. There's Lawson Holland, the special teams coach. And Gators more inclined to try long field goals now that they have a dependable kicker like Chandler. From the 20. Alexander ahead for 2. Keith Kelsey helped wrestle him to the ground. Kelsey, a 5th-year senior from Newberry, Florida, just a few miles from Gainesville. He was a backup for the last several seasons, that talented group of Florida linebackers. Starting 3 last year, Javon Curse, Mike Peterson, and Johnny Rutledge, all taken in the first 51 picks of the most recent NFL draft. So 3 newcomers at linebacker, and all 3, McCaslin, Davis, and Kelsey, faring well so far this season. On second down, Zal to the true freshman Antonio Carter. He was hit immediately by Benny Alexander and Marquand Manuel. Time now for the Sun America virtual playbook.
We talked about Alex Brown being a real terror coming off the edge. He's a great upfield pass rusher. So if you're Alabama, what do you do? How do you try to defend him? Well, a couple things. You can move a tight end over, put another body there for him to come around, or move a fullback into a wing position. He can chip and help out that tackle blocking him, or you can call plays that attack his strength. Get him coming up the field, run a shovel pass or a draw inside of him.
On 3rd down and 5, Zal throws for a first down. Antonio Carter with his first career touchdown reception last week in the win against Arkansas, with a big first down out to the 36, where Benny Alexander chopped him down.
Big throw by Andrew Zal there on a big 3rd down play. Carter, another one of those quick young receivers who can make plays for you. They had trip formation, and Carter was just able to find a little soft spot against that zone defense and pick up the first down.
Ball spotted at the 35. Alexander driven back after a gain of 2 to the 37-yard line. Marquand Manuel, Lester Norwood, the safeties up to help on the run. Alexander now number 2 all-time in rushing at the University of Alabama. He's approaching 3,000 career rushing yards. Needed 204 today to reach 3,000. Needed 624 over the course of the rest of the season to become the all-time leader in pass, Bobby Humphrey. Zal on second down throws too long for Millens. It took him out of bounds. Good coverage by the true freshman Alito Shepard. And another 3rd down. And 9 to go for a first down for Alabama. Andrew Zal is a Florida native from Lake Butler, Florida, not far from Gainesville. Was recruited for a while by Florida, but then he had a knee injury in high school. Florida and several other schools backed away. Many of the schools that recruited him weren't recruiting to play quarterback. He throws a throwback screen. Terry Jones Jr., the tight end, lost the football after he hit the ground, but he's also about a half-yard short of the first down. Needed to reach the 45-yard line. Andre Davis knocked him down and caused the ball to pop out after he hit the ground, but it was short of the first down.
If you want a good indicator of how fast this Florida defense is, watch how quickly they react to this play. This play is set up perfectly for Alabama. It looks like a big play for Terry Jones, but out of nowhere, the defense converges. Davis there for the big hit. And you see the ball pop out after Jones was on the ground, but great team speed running to the sideline by Andre Davis.
Patrick Morgan to punt again to Darrell Jackson. And fourth down and a short one. Better effort this time from Morgan. Jackson's knee went down. They tackled him anyway, but they were going to rule him down at the 19, rather at the 14-yard line after a 43-yard punt. Monday on CBS, the King of Queens accidentally puts a staple. Well, let's just say where no staple has gone before. Trust us, guys, it's the funniest King of Queens ever Monday on CBS. Doesn't sound like a particularly funny premise to me, but it's such a funny show that I'm sure it is. Doug Johnson back on the field leading this Gator attack after throwing a 73-yard touchdown pass on the last play from the scrimmage for Florida to give them the 7-3 lead. Going deep again for Jackson. He was being held, and a flag is thrown. Well, Reggie Miles was beat last time.
That's right.
We wanted to make sure it didn't happen again. He grabbed a hold of the jersey of Jackson, and that was in plain view of just about everybody here at the Swamp.
And he didn't need to that time, Sean, because that time his safety, Tony Dixon, was in good position to come over and help and make a play on that pass. The last time when he was beat on the touchdown, he had no help coming over the top.
Holding by the defense because the pass crossed the line and the holding was against an eligible receiver. That's an automatic first down.
Take a look. You see Miles is beat. He's behind. He doesn't know whether the safety Dixon can get there, and he grabbed a hold of Jackson's jersey. Again, a little gun shy after giving up the touchdown one series ago. It's a lonely position to play corner in today's world of college football. A lot of man-to-man coverage. You're out there on an island, and when you play a team like Florida, if they find you singled, they're going to go after you.
First and 10, just shy of the 25-yard line. Bo Carroll out to the 30. And Marvin Constant and Reggie Grimes combined on the stop. Carroll had a good game last week at Kentucky. They lost Ernest Graham, their leading rusher, in the first series of the game with the thigh bruise. So Carroll divided time the rest of the game with Robert Gillespie. Bo rushed for 86 yards and Gillespie 108. Florida had more than 200 yards rushing in that game, 224 against the Cats.
And the fullback Rob Roberts got the game ball for his blocking during that ball game. Very good running game for the Gators.
Roberts not in there at the moment with 3 wide receivers. And the handoff to Carroll, taken down from behind by Canary Knight. The former linebacker, now a defensive end, and another Floridian. He's from Tallahassee. And he made a fine play to run down one of the speediest running backs in the country from the backside.
Well, Canary Knight has great speed. You see him as he closes on this play. They were supposed to cut him off with the tight end. Not a very good effort by the tight end Kirk Wells that time on a very quick defender. Canary Knight had made the play behind the line.
Florida without their usual starting tight end Aaron Kinney for the second straight week, as he's been bothered by a neck stinger. Johnson, the quick pass to Darrell Jackson, first down. Finally, he's driven back at the 42-yard line. Without Travis Taylor, Darrell Jackson has become the primary target of Doug Johnson. And the words of Steve Spurrier, he is top-notch.
He has really come on. I mean, you love to see that when a key player goes down, somebody else rises up and becomes the go-to guy. He only had 9 catches in his first 2 ball games. Then against Tennessee, he had a career-high 10, had 6 for over 100 yards last week. So he really has risen to the occasion for this Florida offense.
Already just about matched his numbers from a year ago. He's going to shatter all those numbers. Robert Gillespie back in. First down into Bama territory and down at the 40-yard line. Salim Rashid. Jason Jones made the stop. First carry for Gillespie since his fumble led to the Alabama field goal and a pickup of 18 for the sophomore from Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
We talked about Alabama trying to spread you out with formation. Steve Spurrier does the same thing. Great cutback by Gillespie. Good vision on the move, a quick cut. And again, this offensive line for Florida has played very well through the first 4 ball games this season and starting out again that way today.
Rob Roberts, the only back, lined up behind Johnson. They have Bo Carroll split out to the left. Johnson lost the snap. And Alabama has recovered at the 42-yard line. Salim Rashid came up with a loose ball as Johnson lost it while backing away from the center. Second turnover committed by Spurrier's Charges.
Corey Yarbrough has done a great job in at center replacing Zadelis, but look at Kenny Smith. He's lined up right on the nose that time. Yarbrough was very conscious of Smith and Smith getting off the ball quickly, and he didn't take care of first things first. First order of business, make a good snap, then get into your block. Was not a clean exchange between Yarbrough and Doug Johnson.
Four wide receivers on first down for Alabama at its own 41. Zhao with lots of time against the 4-man rush. Alexander with lots of running room at the 30 of Florida and all the way to the 20-yard line. 39 yards. Benny Alexander, no relation to Sean Alexander, saved the touchdown.
Alabama has shown a tendency on early downs. There's Alexander coming out of the backfield that they throw when he's in the shotgun on first down. So it's a zone defense. That was what Florida wanted to do, play a lot of zone, but they lost track of Alexander coming out of the backfield, and he burned him.
Sean Alexander on first down into the middle of the line for a short gain across the 20 to the 19. A pickup of 1.
I mentioned trying to get the football to your playmaker's hands in areas where he can be successful. They've tried to run it. He hasn't had a whole lot of success running. That was a good call that time by Charlie Stubbs, getting him out into the secondary, getting him out in space where he could make a play with the football. That's where he is most dangerous, operating in space.
On second down, Zhao under pressure got it off. For a gain to the 15-yard line for Jason McCadley. Keith Kelsey made the tackle on the final play of the first quarter. At the end of the first quarter, the score is Florida 7 and Alabama 3. We'll return to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station.
Actor Kevin Pollak on the next Martin Short Show.
First play of the second quarter is a big one for Alabama, looking at 3rd down and 5 at the Florida 15-yard line with the Gators leading 7-3. They go to the 4 wide receiver set. Actually 5 receivers spread across the field for Andrew Zhao. He throws, caught. Freddie Millens taken down at the 1-yard line by Marquand Manuel.
Great pass protection up front for Alabama. Gave Zhao lots of time to read that one and get the first down throw.
And Todd, as was the case last season in the game in Tuscaloosa, Florida turnovers a big factor.
Yeah, 5 of them last year, even though they moved the ball up and down against Alabama, clearly outgained them, but the turnovers kept Alabama in the ball game, and so far it's doing it again today.
First and goal from the 1. Alabama have a 3-0 lead. The Tide trying to reclaim the lead here. Alexander, great second effort to get to the goal line, but he's short of the end zone by just inches. Keith Kelsey and Lester Norwood combining to stop Alexander just shy of the end zone.
A lot of experience up front for Alabama. You go over your stud, Chris Samuel, but Derek Chambers did a pretty good job of getting leverage and not allowing Samuels to drive him off the football, therefore helping to keep Alexander out of the end zone.
With 2 tight ends in the game, they give it to McClintock, the fullback. And the Bama players thought he was in. The officials say no. He might have gained an inch or 2. But they're marking him down about 3 inches from the goal line.
Well, it looked from here that he got in on that one.
Certainly did.
Driving his legs.
Right behind, about the same perspective as the official here.
A lot of bodies in there. Andre Davis does a nice job getting up over the top.
Now one of the officials has come running in to move the ball about a foot toward the middle of the field. They're just inches from the go-ahead touchdown. With 2 tight ends again. And McClintock in front of Alexander. McClintock didn't get there. He lost yardage that time. Derek Chambers leading that run-stopping Florida defense.
Derek Chambers has made a couple plays on this goal line stand. Again, he gets underneath the pads of Samuel, and he makes a good charge inside, actually working on the tight end, the backup tight end, Sean Draper that time. Great play by Derek Chambers, who has been pretty quiet so far this season for Florida. 2 great plays on this drive.
Crowd certainly anything but quiet on 4th down. Deep handoff, touchdown. Sean Alexander on the 4th try from the 1-yard line makes the gamble. Payoff for Mike Dubose, and really in that situation you just about have to go for it. It would be a major concession of defeat to settle for a field goal after having 1st and goal at the 1. They do get the go-ahead touchdown.
They had trouble going right up inside. This time they go a little wider, and the fullback McClintock gets a nice block on Eugene McCaslin, the linebacker, and gives a little space for Alexander to get into the end zone.
Now Chris Kemp on to try the extra point. He's the backup kicker. They're still without Ryan Flugner, who did make the trip and might try a very long field goal. It wasn't a game-deciding situation today, but he still has a little bit of a leg muscle pull. The touchdown, an extra point, puts Bama back up by 3.
4th down go-ahead touchdown for Sean Alexander. I want to show you the strength that Alexander has as he gets in here. 2 Florida players in position to make the play, but you're not going to tackle Alexander with an arm tackle. Runs right through him into the end zone on 4th down.
Alexander has now scored 11 of Alabama's 18 touchdowns this season. All 10 Bama points after Florida turnovers. Lane Bearden, a little bit of a stutter step as he approached the ball. Good kick to the corner. Bo Carroll trying to cut all the way back across field. Now up the middle and out to the 20-yard line. Good coverage by Sean Ray. He's been a steady force on special teams this season. No one covers college football like CBS Sports Line. Each week you get in-depth previews and results from every game. Plus see how our experts rank all 114 Division I-A teams. Call at cbs.sportsline.com or in America Online. Enter keyword CBS Sportsline.
Did a little live chat thing with those guys this past week.
How was it?
It was fun.
Do you have to rank the 114?
No, I didn't have to do that.
That would be a major homework assignment. Rashae Caldwell takes the quick throw from Doug Johnson. And Caldwell is out to the 28, where he's tackled by Marvin Constant. And a constant in our studio is Tim Brando.
Sean, thank you. Another constant. Georgia and LSU go down to the wire again. On 4th down, trailing 23-16, Josh Booty in his first start looks for Reggie Robinson on the post. Touchdown. Inexplicably, Jerry DiNardo goes for 2 rather than 1 and overtime. Now he's got a wide open receiver, does Booty, after he gets away from pressure. Will Witherspoon knocks it away. Georgia wins by 1.
Wow.
And Bo Carroll carried while you were looking at that highlight. Jerry DiNardo already on a very hot seat in the state of
Well, a lot of times coaches still think on the road. Yeah, you try to win it on the road rather than play in overtime. And that's kind of the old school way of thinking. And it certainly didn't work for DiNardo today.
Carroll picked up the first down with his carry out to the 30. And they give it to Carroll again. Good cut inside. He can fly. Touchdown saving tackle by Tony Dixon at the 32-yard line of Alabama.
You know, Sean, I wondered whether Florida would really miss Ernest Graham's running style today against a physical defense, because he was the more physical runner of the three. But so far, no real drop-off in the running game because of the vision and the quick cutting of Gillespie. And on this play, Carroll, just good vision, patience, and waiting for that lane to open. Then you see the speed and the acceleration through the hole.
Carroll goes out after that 38-yard gain, his longest run of the season. 4 wide receivers. Out of the shotgun, another bobble snap by Johnson. A quick throw to Caldwell. He has running room. He's also very fast, and he's close to a first down. Appears to have it at the 21-yard line. Tony Dixon made the stop. Doug Johnson having a little bit of a tough time getting the handle. At the fumbled snap they lost in the last possession. Had trouble with this shotgun snap.
A little high and outside, but he does a nice job of maintaining it and staying with it. As you see, Rashae Caldwell and Alex Willis, number 80, does a great job of blocking on the linebacker Merritt. That allowed Caldwell to, even though the play was slow and developing, catch up. There's a block right here. Nice job by Willis buying extra time for Caldwell.
1st and 10. Johnson for Jackson. Batted down. Excellent defensive play by Milo Lewis, who's been their best cornerback so far this season. The junior from Mountain View, California, in his first year at Bama as a junior college transfer from the City College of San Francisco.
Alabama only has 2 interceptions this season. Milo has both of them. He has made a lot of big plays the last couple weeks. Did a nice job of timing that play and getting in front of the throw of Doug Johnson. Had what he wanted coverage-wise, but a good play by Milo Lewis.
4 wide receivers again for Florida. Jackson, Hoggebrook, Caldwell, and Willis. Johnson on 2nd and 10. Fires a bullet well short of the first down to Alex Willis, the junior, former walk-on, who earned a scholarship this season in his junior year. He missed a practice earlier this week to take a test. That seemed to get under Coach Spurrier's skin. He said, I don't think the Alabama receivers are missing practice to take tests, but hey, that's part of the college life.
That's his classroom, the practice field. Professor Spurrier.
And he takes advantage of that time, particularly with the quarterbacks. Doug Johnson. Steve says we're striving for perfection. We know we're not going to get it, but that is the goal. Johnson's gotten a lot better just about every facet of the game, particularly in the decision-making this year. After the summer spent on campus, he throws that one away, and a flag down for an intentional grounding call as the hit was being brought on by Cornelius Griffin.
And a good call. The rule states that if you throw the ball away to avoid the sack, that it's intentional grounding. And Cornelius Griffin, pressure from the inside. That's the key for Alabama. If your quarterback is not real mobile, can you get pressure inside? And Cornelius Griffin.
On the offense, penalty is loss of the down at the spot of the foul. The down will be
and a new rule this year in college football, when it is grounding like this, they just mark the ball at the spot of the grounding. So to me, there's no real penalty for the quarterback to do that. If you know you're going to get sacked anyway, why not just throw it into the ground and hope you don't get the flag?
Yeah, but it never used to be a loss of down, I don't think. And that's the difference now. At least they make you settle for the field goal attempt.
It'll be a long try, 41 yards for Chandler, who's perfect on the year in field goals until now. Never really did get it airborne. Low line drive, wide to the right. His first miss of the season. He had been 7 of 7 in field goal tries. CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot College football will continue after this word from your local station. Back in the swamp, Alabama leads by 3. Nearly midway through the second quarter. Sean McDonough with Todd Blackledge and Michelle Tafoya. Delighted to have you with us. Andrew Zhao throws behind the line of scrimmage. Incomplete. Tried to find Freddie Millen. The ball went through his hands. Time now for our weekly Aflac trivia question. Hope it's a little tougher than last week. A real layup last week. Which team has the longest home winning streak in NCAA history? Right now, the longest current streak at home, college football, as we told you earlier, is Florida's 30 games in a row, but that's not the longest ever. Which team has the longest home winning streak? We'll answer that question in a few minutes. Second down and 10. Alabama from the 25. Alexander for a gain of 1. Stopped by Andre Davis and Alex Brown. Florida has the longest active home winning streak. 30 in a row, 17 straight against SEC opponents. Their last loss here in 1994 to Auburn. Marshall, the second longest home winning streak. Their stadium in Huntington, West Virginia. Florida State third.
Talk about Florida moving Alex Brown around. So far, 15 times he's lined up over the freshman Ellington, 12 times over Chris Samuel. So they are flopping him back and forth.
Zhao with a flag down. Steps up and throws. First down at the play stands. Antonio Carter tackled by Darrell Dixon. That's one true freshman tackling another at the 40-yard line, but there were flags thrown at each end of the line of scrimmage.
I think they got Alex Brown for being offsides this time. We mentioned he had a great jump off the football.
Offsides on the defense. Penalty refused. First down.
He was a little too quick this time. He tries to get a great jump. He's watching the football, watching the quarterback, and just a hair early that time going against Dante Ellington. And good presence by Andrew Zhao, knowing that maybe he had the penalty, but staying with the play and getting the throw downfield for even more yardage.
So it's a first down for Alabama. Out to the 40-yard line. Zhao's 11 out of 15 passing for 105 yards. Alexander has running room outside. Gets a block from McClintock. And Alexander was tackled at the 46. A gain of 6. Keith Kelsey made the stop on Alexander in his senior year from Florence, Kentucky. They want him to have 30 touches in every game, whether it's through the passing game or on the ground.
We talked about what can Alabama do to counter Alex Brown. One thing, move the tight end over, get another body on him. They run away from him, but you just put 2 bodies over there, make him work a little harder. So far, I think Alabama has done a very nice job in this first half of kind of neutralizing his effectiveness.
And they have the lead despite just 22 yards rushing from Alexander. That's his 12th carry. That doesn't yield much. 2 more out to the 48-yard line. So it'll be third down and 2. Florida did an excellent job on Sean Alexander last year in Tuscaloosa, held him to 57 yards. John Hope, the new defensive coordinator at Florida, told us yesterday, Sean Alexander, the running game of Alabama, is not going to beat us. We're going to do everything we can, first and foremost, to take away the run. If they're going to beat us, they're going to have to do it through the air.
Yeah, they want to put the ball in the game in Andrew Zhao's hands, and that's smart by John Hope. I mean, don't let them beat you at what they do best. Make them do some different things to beat you.
Sean Bohannon in a tailback. They go from Sean A to Sean B, and Sean B appears to have the first down. He got just across the 50, and that's what he needed. Keith Kelsey made the stop. It looks like an Alabama first down, although now they're spotting the ball right on the 50-yard line.
See, the best thing about this game and how it's developing right now for Alabama, because of the turnovers of Florida and the score being what it is, no sense of panic for Alabama. They're playing in the swamp. It's a loud place, but they don't have to abandon their running game. They can keep doing the things that they're doing. The game is playing out very nicely for them right now. As you see, they pick up the first down at midfield.
Just by the tip of the football. Mike DuBose was still a little bit upset. We chatted with him during the week about that bad spot in the game last week against Arkansas that prolonged Arkansas's last drive and sent the game down to the final play. He wasn't all that happy about this spot seconds ago, but it was good enough to give him a first down that went against Arkansas, the first ever for DuBose in his 3 years as head coach against a ranked team that got his career record back above the 500 mark. 3 wide receivers out to the right, two to the left. Zau's throw caught. Antonio Carter quickly becoming a big playmaker for Alabama. Inside the 45-yard line. Gain of about 5. Or another native Floridian. He's from Tallahassee.
13 of them on this Alabama team. A couple key guys. You know, Andrew Zau, of course. Played at Union County High School. I saw where his alma mater, great high school tradition, won a big game last night, 31-28 over Williston, a team that was previously undefeated.
When Zau was in high school, he led his team to state titles as sophomore and junior. Senior year cut short by a torn left ACL. At that time, they'd won 40 games in a row. He was 40-0. He has Sean Alexander wide open, and the ball's overthrown by a yard or two. Alexander was in the clear inside the 20. But Zau's throw was just a bit too long.
Perfect setup play. Alabama makes a living on the wide receiver screen. Watch them fake the screen and slip Alexander outside. They've thrown enough wide receiver screens to make Florida respect that. They faked the wide receiver screen, and they had just what they wanted. Alexander running all by himself down the sideline, just couldn't catch up to the football.
And Todd, in a game like this where you're a big underdog and you have the opportunity to make a big play, you have to make it.
I mean, that call's only going to work one time, you know, and they had it set up. They just couldn't make the connection.
Alabama, 5 out of 9 altogether, 4 out of 5 and 5 yards or less on third down. And the Tide used the timeout with the play clock about to expire. Alabama leads by 3 with 5 minutes left in the first half.
Tim Brando in New York. Coming up on the AXA Halftime Report, Spencer Tillman and I will get you caught up on all the scores and highlights of a big day, including Michigan clearing up things in the Big Ten. David Terrell's 18-yard touchdown reception helping out along the way. Now back to Alabama and Florida.
Alabama's done an excellent job on 3rd and 4th down conversions this afternoon. They're trying to convert on 3rd down and the long 4 here at the Florida 45-yard line. They spread the field, and Zau goes out of the shotgun. Just a 4-man rush, and the throw on target. Alexander lost his helmet, but held onto the ball for a first down. And he's slow to get up at the 39-yard line. Andre Davis put a pop on him.
Another good job by Charlie Stubbs getting Alexander out and involved in the offense, working right in between the linebackers against the zone defense. He knew what he needed for the first down. He got beyond the first down marker and then gave his quarterback a nice target to throw to. Alabama doing a great job of possessing the football now, Sean. Over 20 minutes they've had the football, only 8 minutes and 14 seconds for Florida. How do you defend that offense? Keep them on the sideline.
That's right. They've done a great job. Sean Bohannon, tackled by Keith Kelsey. Bohannon's a junior from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Perhaps he knows the answer to our Aflac trivia question. The longest home winning streak in NCAA football history. Miami, with those great teams from the mid-'80s and into the mid-'90s, won 58 straight at the Orange Bowl.
They talk about the Swamp today the way they used to talk about the Orange Bowl. I mean, nobody liked going in there to play. That was a very, very hard place to play.
And out of the gun, they spread the field with receivers. Zau, high throw, but a good catch, and McCadley has a first down. Jason down to the 26-yard line, tackled by Marquand Manuel. And Zau is now 14 for 19 passing.
They're trying to take the ball and put it in Zau's hand, make him beat him, and right now he's doing a good job. But credit the offensive line of Alabama, controlling things up front, giving Zau time to find McCadley on this play. We talked about Florida's offensive line before the game. Alabama's offensive line here in the first half playing extremely well themselves.
Jason McCadley, like Sean Bohannon from Oak Ridge, Tennessee. They were high school teammates. Zau with the ball fake and the handoff to Bohannon. Bohannon had 15 carries combined over the first 4 games as Alexander gets almost all the touches in the running game. But Sean Alexander might still be a little wobbly after that sandwich hit when he got caught between a couple of linebackers while making that first down reception.
And what is it about games here in the Swamp? Helmets fly off all the time. We were here a couple of weeks ago.
And this has to be driving Steve Spurrier crazy. Have his offense on the sideline for 6.5 minutes now. Impressive drive by Alabama. Again at its own 25. Zhao across the middle, juggled but caught for another first down by Antonio Carter. Sean Alexander is coming back onto the field now for Alabama.
Watch the protection for Andrew Zhao. Clean sight lines down the field. Nothing coming up on the inside. He's able to stay in there and find the inside receiver Carter and make the good throw. Andrew Zhao playing with a lot of confidence right now because his offensive line giving him a lot of time to work.
You get the sense Charlie Stubbs calling plays with confidence too. Mike DuBose said, I hired Charlie to open up the offense. He didn't really do that the first couple of weeks. He was trying too hard to make everybody happy. Alexander's making him happy as he powers toward another first down inside the 5-yard line. Gerard Ward in on the tackle after Marquand Manuel made the original hit.
You know, the thing that Charlie's doing, here he is in the middle, is he's again doing a great job of mixing formations. He's showing 4 wide receivers, shotgun, then he's going 2 tight ends. He's running with the fullback. He's mixing the formations and creating some problems for John Hoke's defense right now. You got a good blocking fullback, Dustin McClintock in there getting his lead block. And Sean Alexander again great in open spaces and got the vision that all great backs have. But I really like how they're mixing up the formations and they're mixing the pass and run. They've got this defense on their heels a little bit here in the first half. No question.
And this could still be a vital game. Steve Spurrier wants a timeout here just to change the momentum and perhaps save some time for his offense to get back on the field with a chance to score. But there's still a lot of rumors. We've heard from people we consider to be very dependable sources in Alabama that it's not beyond the realm of possibility that should Alabama lose this game, Mike DuBose could be out immediately. Bama leads by 3. Alabama putting on a very impressive display in this hostile environment here in the first half. Leading by 3 with first and goal at the Florida 4.
Sean, I would go play action pass here on first down and try to get it in the end zone on this first down.
They give it to Sean Alexander. The cutback move gets him down inside the 3. Eugene McCaslin made the tackle.
Can't say enough about Alabama's proficiency on third down in the ball game. 6 of 10. You know, in the last 2 weeks, Florida's defense has been great on third down. Hold Tennessee and Kentucky to combine 7 for 30, 23% conversions. But today, Alabama has been outstanding on third down.
14 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown for Sean Alexander. 2 tight ends, Draper and Jones. Alexander lost yardage. Driven back behind the 5-yard line. Derek Chambers and Keith Kelsey made the stop. Steve Spurrier looking up at the clock. You wonder if he'd be considering another timeout here.
The reason I like the play action on first down is now you're in a situation where Florida's expecting pass. I mean, they're going to defend for the pass. First down, you have a chance to maybe fool them by a good play action fake. Now a lot of more pressure on Andrew Zhao to make a play on this third down play than there was on first or second down. You hate to settle for field goals against Florida because you know how quickly they can score touchdowns.
17th play of the drive. More than 8.5 minutes long. Alexander throws a block. Zhao scrambling, throws right through the hands of the tight end, Terry Jones Jr. There's a flag down in the backfield.
2 guys were moving. The fullback McClintock tried to reset into a new position, and there was motion by the wide receiver. Florida will probably decline this penalty.
They wouldn't have been able to if Jones made the catch. Steve wants them to turn it down.
Illegal shift. 2 men removing by the offense. Penalty is refused. 4th down.
A devastating one of those before the snap penalties. Watch the fullback and the motion man. An illegal shift called on the fullback because he started at the same time. And DuBose wanted to get a timeout. He knew the play was doomed because of the penalty. Again, 38 penalties coming in, 20 of them before the snap penalties. That one hurt.
Chris Kemp from an awkward angle. A 22-yard field goal is good. What a drive by Alabama. The only negative was that it did not end at a touchdown. It yields a field goal and a 6-point Crimson Tide lead.
And now, the Fidelity Mentors of the Game.
My mentor, my hero, my everything is my mom, you know, because pretty much growing up, she taught me how to be strong, you know, just being around her. It's like most people, you know, they look at like athletes on TV and everything, but it's like my hero was there every day and I see her every day. And she ceased to amaze me. It's like every day was just amazing, just looking at her. Like she cried one time and it's like I cried with her because that's like the first time I ever seen her cry. She's just such a strong person.
Coming up on the College Football Today AXA halftime report, Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman will bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights on this busy day in college football. That's all coming up next on the AXA halftime report. 17 seconds left in the first half here in Gainesville. And the locals aren't accustomed to this. Looks like they'll be facing a deficit at halftime unless lightning strikes for the Gators in the last 17 seconds of the half, and it can. Lane Bearden will kick it away. There's a guy who can make lightning strike. Right. John Capel. He won't have a chance to run it back as it comes back to Bo Carroll. Tackled from behind by Santonio Beard at the 34-yard line. 33-yard return for Carroll, and that was a big tackle because after Beard there weren't too many white shirts.
You've got two guys who have great speed, both great sprinters on the track team. Bo Carroll, he's done a nice job returning kickoffs so far in the first half. And you're right, he was close. Now Beard has very good speed himself, but he was not in a position to chase Carroll down. Made the good tackle in the open field.
Well, 8 seconds left. What a drive by Alabama. 18 plays, nearly 9 minutes long, but just the field goal. Gillespie across midfield, down at the 47-yard line, and the half ends. They wanted to get a timeout, get another playoff, a heave for the end zone, but time expired after the 19-yard run by Gillespie. Very impressive first half by Alabama. But just a 6-point lead for the Tide. Here's Michelle with Steve Spurrier.
Well, Coach, Alabama has done well on third down, and they benefited from a couple of turnovers. How do you change the flow of this game?
Well, we got to stop them, obviously. It's the first time I ever remember one possession in a quarter, but we're stopping ourselves, you know, the fumbles, the interceptions. Offensively, we hadn't had the ball much, but when we're out there, we need to do something, and we got to stop them. But we're not in too bad a shape at 13-7. With only about 15 plays the whole game.
Coach, thanks. Sean, let's send it back to you.
All right, Michelle. At halftime, the score is Alabama 13 and Florida 7. Good thing Michelle has excellent speed. Here's Tim Brando in New York.
Coming up on the AXA halftime report, Spencer Tillman and I will have all the scores and highlights, including Peter Warwick's offensive outburst and the big game in the Big Ten after this word from your local station.
Join me for Outdoor Magazine right here on WNEM 5.
Alex Brown, and you can neutralize him. He has a tremendous first step, but I tell you what, when you got two guys on him, I don't care how athletic this guy is. You get a tight end down on his knees, that gives him tremendous fits. And of course, you got big Chris Samuels there, the All-American candidate. He's going to give him problems as well. That's how you neutralize a guy who had 9 sacks, or actually had a situation where he could have had 9 sacks total coming up today.
Yeah, and zilch, zero right now. Let's get right to the college football scoreboard and bring you up to speed. Lots of games, lots of important ones, but not this one. Duke sold out. $800,000. A home game should have been in Wallace Wade Stadium. They take the cash and go to the Sunshine State. They don't cool off Chris Winkie or Peter Warren. Those galloping lopes that are similar to that of a really Michael Jordan and Pad.
I like your description there. He finds the sideline. 39-yard touchdown. Seminoles led this thing 14-0. Then Chris Winkie finds Peter Warwick in the corner. Nothing special there. 2-yard touchdown pass. Then watch Warwick. He can also get the job done under the quarterback. Shotgun. Warwick rolls right, hits his receiver. And I'll tell you what, 35-yard touchdown is the result. They are impressive. There's your final score.
Winkie, 5 touchdown passes. Purdue and Michigan, Boilermakers, trying to make a statement that they're not a pretender, they're a contender. Well, the percussion section enjoyed this one today. The Maize and Blue, the A-Train, playing a little power Big Ten football. He crushes it in there, and that really enables them to get back into the game. Michigan takes control. Drew Brees is picked off. This one by Larry Foote. Too much power over the finesse in the Big Ten today. 38-12 the final score for the Wolverines. Purdue's 10-game winning streak snapped. Nebraska, Oklahoma State, 38-14. Huskers make a statement today, and Eric Crouch getting it done the old-fashioned Nebraska Big Red way.
Old school shades of Turner Gill and Mike Rozier. Nothing special about that, just the little option play. Then Nebraska's Dan Alexander going to follow up on a 7-yard option pass as Nebraska wins this thing 38-14. That's smash mouth Nebraska football with those big offensive linemen.
Well, they've now won 24 straight in this series. Bob Simmons' club really takes it on the chin today. Now, in the Southeastern Conference, so important for Jerry DiNardo to get off the schneid. He lost 7 out of 8 in the SEC. Uga, that's a 10-ton Uga right there. And between the hedges and Quincy Carter, a little pump fake goes to Randy McMichael. But Josh Booty in his first start with 4th down. Look at this play. He's special.
22 seconds left in the contest. He's scrambling around. Obviously, this is a busted pass, but it's particularly special because he's throwing deep with accuracy. That's rare talent indeed.
But Jerry DiNardo was going for 2 all the way on this. I mean, there was no indecision. He has to believe this play is can't miss.
Obviously, he's looked at some film and saw a weakness, but this is a gutsy call. He's going to be second-guessing this from here to eternity.
Yeah, by the way, Coach, overtime is now allowed in college football. They would like to have seen that, I'm sure, on the Bayou. 23-22, Georgia LSU gets Florida next week. Wisconsin and Ohio State. This game now in the second quarter. Ron Dane, only 35 yards on 11 carries. See the Heisman slipping away. 14-6, Texas now over K-State. Very important game for the Longhorns. Major Applewhite does have a touchdown pass in this one. Michigan State, Iowa. The Hawkeyes Haydenless and buried today by the Spartans, who are just quietly going about the business of moving up the top 25. Bill Burke, 4 TD passes in the first half. Plaxico Burress, love the name, love the look. He can get it done. This was just a showcase for him. This is an offensive attack under Nick Saban that just dismantled Iowa in every way. Homecoming for Michigan State, and why not? They got it done the Plaxico way. 49-3 over the Hawkeyes this afternoon. Back into the Southeastern Conference, where Vanderbilt is now trailing Mississippi State 39-14. Remember, Bulldogs don't play Georgia, don't play Florida, don't play Tennessee. Arkansas lost. Alabama has to keep pace now with Jackie Sherrill, the Alabama alum, now the head coach at Mississippi State. Kentucky 31-20 over Arkansas. Hey, imagine the fallout emotionally. It's college football. Lose one you think you're supposed to win, and then there's emotional fallout the following week. And then this falling out of the sky into the hands of Quentin McCord from Dusty Bonner, who is doing his best to take over for Tim Couch. Chris Chikuma tries to get the Razorbacks in it. In this game, Clint Sterner was taken out in the third quarter, did return. But again, give Hal Mummy's fun and gun a little bit of credit. The Wildcats in the Bluegrass winning by a final score of 31-20. Coming up, we'll look at more of today's action when the AXA halftime report continues. And Alabama getting it done with a 4th down conversion by Sean Alexander. He's a Heisman candidate. Football action continues tomorrow with an NFL doubleheader on CBS. In the early games, most of you will see Jacksonville take on Pittsburgh. Then later, most will see a rematch of last year's AFC title game, the Broncos against the Jets, while many will see Tennessee against San Francisco. It all begins at noon Eastern with Jim Nantz, Craig James, Randy Cross, and Jerry Glanville. Say hello, fellas, on the NFL today. Nice to see Craig has work. Welcome back to the AXA halftime report. Tim Brando along with Spencer Tillman. Getting back to that scoreboard, a very important day indeed in college football. And let's go to it and talk about these games because they're very important. Marshall now has the longest winning streak in college football at 9. They thumped Miami 29-0 today. And Chad Pennington truly should be a Heisman consideration.
Yeah, it's a shame no one sees Chad Pennington play. Strong arm here, throws it deep with accuracy. That's a great play on the run. Not many college guys can do that. Finds James Williams there for the score.
All right. Marshall rolls on against Miami. Pencil them in right now for the Motor City Bowl in Detroit, will you? East Carolina and Army, 33-14, our new poster child for the have-nots of college football, the Pirates. They've beaten Miami of Florida the last 2 times they've played them. David Garrard here to Arnie Powell. Hey, talk about moves that are Warwick-like. Look at that. Touchdown, 62 yards the score. East Carolina gets Tulane, gets a break on cruise control to Cincinnati. Could be unbeaten with no shot at a national title. Speaking of Tulane, taking on the Qs today in the final of a 4-game homestand for Syracuse. Medee Williams, this isn't exactly the way you draw it up, Spence, but you know what? It counts. Pat Woodcock on the receiving end of this touchdown pass.
Yeah, it's special. You find a guy open in the end zone, you got to find him. The quarterback has to have patience and faith that his offense is not going to break down. 3 running backs with touchdowns in the game for Paul Pasqualoni. That's the way he likes it. Some balance off the option and in the air as well. Oklahoma where the win, and Spencer Tillman once went to school. 23-14 over the Irish in the third quarter. The real question here, Bob Davie out to a 1-4 start. Remember, Notre Dame prides itself on the fact that they let coaches run out their tenure, even Jerry Faust. Think about it. Holtz retired. Parsegian retired. Pressure here on Notre Dame administration? You bet there's pressure, but first of all, let's give credit to where credit is due.
Yeah.
You got to give Coach Stoops some credit for hiring a guy, Mike Leach, former assistant at Kentucky, for coming in with that passing game. That's the key for you. Oklahoma is winning the unconventional way. One of the most prolific teams as far as the pass is concerned in the country, the 44 points per game.
Somehow I thought you'd get Oklahoma's credit in there. Coming up, the second half of Alabama and Florida. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the game. See, I knew you would do that.
The AXA Halftime Report is sponsored by AXA Advisors.
Crimson Tide after an impressive performance in the first half. Trying to do it again in the second. We'll return with the second half kickoff right after this. Alabama leads by 6 a moment ago. Michelle spoke with Mike Dubose.
Coach, your offensive line did a great job neutralizing Alex Brown in the first half. How key was that to keeping your offense on the field as long as you did?
Well, I think it's important that we mix up what we're doing, run and pass, to keep them off balance some, and our offensive line has done a great job. It's a 60-minute football game, though. There's a lot of football left to play.
Yeah, a 6-point lead is never safe with these guys. What have you asked your defense to do in the second half?
I asked our football team to go out and play the next 30 minutes harder than they played the first 30, and if we do, we'll be all right.
Good luck, Coach. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Alabama will get the ball first to begin the second half as Jeff Chandler will kick off. And Freddie Millins is back deep near the goal line. Bama fans making the noise. The 85,000 Gator fans seem a little bit stunned by what they saw in the first half. Chandler's kickoff is a touchback. No chance for Sean Toure or Santonio Beard there to bring it back. And Todd, really the perfect formula for an upset of a top-ranked team used by Alabama in that first half. Time of possession, no turnovers, a limited number of penalties.
You're right. They only gave Florida 17 plays. They controlled the football game. They took the crowd out of it. The only thing I think that's still going to come back to haunt him is not getting a touchdown on that last great scoring drive that they had where they had to settle for the field goal.
They go with the spread formation on 1st and 10 from their own 20-yard line. Andrews out. With Brown picked up well again, finds Sam Collins, the true freshman, with his first catch of the day and 3rd of his career. And he's out to the 28-yard line. Gain of 8 on 1st down. Florida actually outgained Alabama in terms of total yardage, but the number of snaps, eye-popping when you look at the stat sheet. Alabama ran 41 plays from scrimmage, Florida 18.
Yeah. And 3rd down conversions, Alabama 6 of 11 in that first half. That's a way to keep the football and keep the chains moving.
Eric Collins with a gain of 8 on the reception. 2nd down and 2. John Alexander tackled by Buck Gurley and Alex Brown very close to the first down at the 30-yard line.
But Alabama did a great job neutralizing Alex Brown in the first half. He kept flipping back from side to side, and really when he went against Chris Samuel, he didn't have much effectiveness at all. Samuel is too good of an athlete. He moves his feet too well, and Alex Brown couldn't use his athleticism to beat that big guy. I would expect to see him try to crank it up on Dante Ellington even more in this second half, but no sacks today and only 2 pressures in the entire first half.
3rd down, a short one. The fullback McClintock has the first down out to the 33, upended by Andre Davis. Dustin McClintock, the junior from Quinlan, Texas, moves the chains. You would think the Gators under Spurrier would be a bit more impressive in coming back when down at the half because of their quick strike capability, but just 5 and 13 when behind in the locker room after the first 30 minutes.
An unusual talk he has to give his team at halftime. Not used to it.
Zhao throws, juggled, but held on to by Collins. But the play yields very little, perhaps a yard out to the 34 for Collins, from an Alabama family. His mother, father, and brother all attended the University of Alabama. Miami, as we told you earlier, the longest home winning streak in college football history. Alabama right behind. Harvard, look at all those home games. 56 home games over a 6-season stretch back in the 1890s. They might have been the only team that had a stadium back then. Harvard Stadium, one of the originals.
Wonder if they paid those teams a lot of money to come play the home games like they do nowadays.
And Zhao's going to use a timeout. They're continuing to do an excellent job of chewing up time. They've already taken more than 2.5 minutes off the clock here in the third quarter. Alabama with a 6-point lead in the third in Gainesville. Second down and 9. This capacity crowd trying to help the Florida defense get off the field, something they haven't been able to do very well. Zhao has some running room. He gained just a yard, trying to stop and reverse his field, looking for more rather than take an additional yard or two in the direction he was headed. Gerard Warren helped to run him down.
Again, Florida playing a lot of zone defense against Andrew Zhao, making him read the coverage and try to make the plays. But as you see, nowhere to go with the football. Nobody open for Alabama. Good coverage down the field. Zhao had plenty of time to make the play, couldn't get the football downfield.
Third down and 8. Zhao the pump fake. Under pressure. Terry Jones Jr. dropped the ball again. He's had a couple go through his fingertips. It wasn't a perfect throw, but certainly catchable for the tight end.
Well, Terry Jones was lined up in the backfield as the back. They tried to slip him out and run a delayed screen to the tight end. He's showing block. They had it pretty well set up, but Andrew Zhao just couldn't get enough on the football.
There's a flag down. Neither team was aware it was the punt unit and the punt receiving team have come on. And now they're all standing around wondering what the flag is all about. It was thrown in the secondary near the 50-yard line, the far side of the field, near the Alabama sideline.
There is no marker. The pass did not cross the line. Therefore, we cannot have illegal people downfield.
It was a screen, and that's why you had men downfield early. But because it was thrown behind the line of scrimmage, you can't call that penalty. And then again, it was pretty well set up play, but Zhao couldn't connect with Terry Jones.
Patrick Morgan on the punt. They did take 3.5 minutes off the clock on that possession. Darrell Jackson caught it at the 30 and returned it to the 34. 36-yard punt, the 4-yard return. It's Sean Toure again making the tackle on special teams for the tie. Florida finally on offense after this.
The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by the Home Depot, America Online, Sun America, and by Suzuki.
First possession of the second half for Florida. Robert Gillespie opens as the only back behind Doug Johnson. Johnson, quick toss for Darrell Jackson. He juggled. Incomplete pass. Milo Lewis had the coverage. One of the interesting subplots to this game, the battle up front between Kenny Smith, the Alabama defensive tackle, and Kenyatta Walker. They were high school teammates in Meridian, Mississippi. They say in high school, people used to come from all around to watch them practice head-to-head against each other. They really went after each other. They're very good friends, but we're looking forward to the opportunity to compete against each other today. Johnson uses a timeout with the 2nd and 10 play upcoming. Each team has burned a timeout here in the second half. 11-13 remaining in the third quarter. It's still Alabama 13 and Florida 7.
And now a look at this week's Suzuki Heisman Watch Update.
Tim Brando along with Spencer Tillman back in New York. Well, he's the #1 weapon on the nation's best team. Peter Warrick of Florida State. He's Michael Jordan in pads.
I love that description. Didn't have the gaudy numbers today, only 6 catches for 67 yards, but he did have 3 TDs, so he's making an impact. Plus, he had that 1 touchdown pass, 35 yards, so Bobby Bowden getting the ball to him as much as he possibly can.
All right, so Drew Brees is still in it. Ron Dane may be in it. Joe Hamilton had a pretty good Thursday night. For more information on the Suzuki Heisman Watch, log on to cbs.sportsline.com.
Back here in Gainesville. Fans been little to cheer, and Steve Spurrier wasn't all that happy about the burn timeout. 2nd and 10, with Bo Carroll now the running back. Some trickery. Rashae Caldwell cuts toward the far sideline. Flag down. He's out of bounds, short of a first down. Another late flag thrown. Might be for a late hit out of bounds on the second flag. First flag came down well before the end of the play.
I think
Tony
the first
Dixon made the tackle.
Yeah, I think the first one may be holding on Florida from the position of the flag. That play takes a long time to develop. It's a late handoff on the reverse.
These two teams heavily penalized coming in were penalized just 3 times combined in the first half.
We have 2 fouls against the offensive team. We have a block in the back, and we have a clip. We'll accept the clip. It's a 15-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
You know, this kind of play is a lot like a punt return. You know, the guy is running a long way along the field. You've got to hang on a block a long time. Hard to tell from there where the flag was. But again, that play takes so long to run, and Caldwell has the ball running across the field for so long. There's just a lot of opportunities to get in a bad position to make a block.
Gillespie, the running back, on 2nd down and 28 now, back at the 16-yard line. Alabama leads by 6. That play's going nowhere. Kendall Moorhead dropped Gillespie after that pass was shoveled to him by Doug Johnson. Gillespie down immediately, and Ellis Johnson's defense has been impressive against the fun and gun today.
This is really a nice play by Kendall Moorhead. Watch him right here as he starts his rush, then reads the screen and gets right out underneath the block of Kenyatta Walker. Walker was there to pick somebody up, but it was just a very quick read by Kendall Moorhead. That's good coaching by the Alabama defensive staff.
And on 3rd down and forever, they give it to Gillespie. A good game, but he's well short of the first down. He got out to the 28-yard line, but they needed to reach the 44.
Sean, I think that was a huge possession for Alabama's defense right there. To answer Florida's first possession of the second half after they didn't have their offense on the field much in the first half, to make them punt on their first offensive possession, I think very big for Alabama.
Marvin Richard back to handle the punt from Allen Ryan, former infielder on the Gator baseball team. And the punt handled with a fair catch by Richard. A 38-yard punt, and Alabama will take over at its own 35-yard line. Let's flash back with Applebee's traditions of the game. The year was 1951, Alabama and Tennessee. The game marked Alabama's first ever appearance on television. The Tide scored first on the Bobby Marlowe run, but Tennessee prevailed 27-13. Mel Allen, an Alabama grad, was one of the announcers. Lindsey Nelson, a Tennessee man, the other. Today, the 200th game on television for Alabama. A milestone. On 1st and 10, it's Alexander for 5 out to the 40. Alabama, for those who are curious, made its first appearance on CBS later that season in the Orange Bowl, 1951, and defeated Boston College 61-6. Tough day for the Eagles. Just 40 yards rushing on 17 carries for Sean Alexander, the Heisman Trophy candidate. But his team is leading by 6 with 9 minutes to play in the third quarter. On the gun on 2nd and 5. Zau's pass intercepted. Benny Alexander's going to score on the first crucial mistake by Alabama.
Sean, really the first bad throw that Andrew Zau has made in the ball game. They're trying to run the wide receiver screen again. They're going to throw the screen out here, coming underneath. But watch, Andrew Zau just doesn't get down on the football. There's no pressure. He just threw the ball too high, right into the hands of Benny Alexander. The first crucial mistake, as you mentioned, and the first bad throw that Andrew Zau has made.
And the lead again for Florida, as Jeff Chandler added the go-ahead extra point. 42 yards on the interception return for Benny Alexander. And the Gators now lead by 1. Andrew Zau with the critical turnover. The interception thrown to his former high school teammate, Benny Alexander. They played together just down the road a piece at Union County High School. Benny's third interception of the season. He has 3 of the 4 for Florida this year.
And the thing for Andrew Zau now, Sean, is he's got to shake that off and come right back on the field. That got the crowd back into the ball game. Andrew Zau did about everything right in the first half. 15 of 21, no turnovers, no bad throws, no real bad decisions. He made a bad decision there. He's got to shake it off and come back.
How demoralizing can it be for a team on the road, hostile environment, the most hostile in the country, according to the Alabama coaches? You have the game going your way virtually throughout, and with one play, you're behind.
Well, that's just the way football is. I mean, you've got to shake that off and know that you're playing well enough to win the football game. You just got to protect the ball.
Antonio Beard, the true freshman, with a good return out to the 30-yard line. 21-yard run back. And as Gooch made the tackle. Tomorrow, the NFL on CBS features doubleheader action in the early game. Many of you will see the Jacksonville Jaguars taking on Cordell Stewart of the Steelers. Some will see Drew Bledsoe and the undefeated Patriots battle the Browns. The late game, most of the nation will see the Jets and Denver. What an amazing story that is. They're searching for victory. It all begins at noon Eastern time with the NFL Today, presented by Southwest Airlines. On 1st and 10, they go to the ground for Alexander, trying to break free. And he has the first down. Not a bad idea after some difficulty to go to your best player.
You asked about how demoralizing it would be for a team. They've got to be able to shake it off because they know they've had enough success in this ball game. They've had a lot of things go well for them. Running the football, throwing the football, mixing it up, putting this defense back on their heels. Here they come right back, running to the short side, away from the tight end. Sean Alexander breaking tackles.
51 yards rushing now, 98 total yards. Inside handoff. And a yard for Alexander before Andre Davis made the primary hit. Alexander's going to have to do some work here in the final quarter and a half if he's going to have another 100-yard rushing game, as he has for every game this season. He's had 12 career games of 100 yards or more, 2 of 200 or more, including the school record as a freshman back in 1996 at LSU. He rushed for 291 yards. Zau with a 4-man rush, running out of time, did a little dance and got sacked by Thaddeus Bullard. The first sack of the day for the Gators.
Andrew Zau a little afraid to pull the trigger on this one. He got picked off his last throw. He held onto this ball a little bit too much. He has time to make the throw. Right now he's got to get rid of the football. Don't hang on to it and give a sack. A sack, again, is a play that gets this crowd fired up, gets them right into the ball game. He didn't want to throw another interception, but throw that one up in the seats and give yourself a better third down.
21st sack of the season for Florida. First today. Zau on 3rd down and long now. They need to get just across midfield. They do. What a throw by Zhao to Antonio Carter for the first down. He beat the true freshman Daryl Dixon with coverage. 21 yards, and give Zhao some credit. Just when it looked like he was starting to get a little bit shaky, that was a perfect throw with a lot on it.
Well, he had happy feet on that one too, but he stayed in there. And again, I can't say enough about this offensive line, how much time they're giving Zhao. Stayed in there and made a solid throw down the field to Carter. Zone defense again, 3rd and long by Florida, and Carter found the seam in the zone. Huge 3rd down conversion.
That was 3rd and 19, and they picked it up with a 21-yard gain. Zhao 18 out of 26. Pump fake. Avoids the rush, throws deep for Alexander, wide open. Touchdown, Alabama.
Sean, confidence is so important for a quarterback. He makes the huge play on 3rd down right when it looks like he's losing it a little bit. He comes back and stands in there and makes a great throw here with the pump fake. He overthrew Alexander in the first half for a touchdown. This time right on the money to him. It's just amazing to see in 2 plays the swing of confidence in the young quarterback Andrew Zhao.
Well, we talked about would they be demoralized. The answer obviously no. Great character shown by the Tide. Interesting decision for Coach DuBose. He's going to go for 2 here to get a 7-point lead. But a touchdown and an extra point can only tie him. Of course, if you don't get it, 2 field goals could beat you. And the throw is low, incomplete. It bounced into Jason McCadley. He's arguing that even from up here, it looked like the ball bounced in, and we're about 9 miles above the playing field. So an interesting decision. He wanted to have the 7-point lead. But still a long way to go in this one. I know our old friend Terry Donnie would say, with this much time left, just take every point you can get. Back in a moment. Andrew Zhao to Sean Alexander to put Alabama back on top. Interesting call with Terry Donahue last year. You used to debate this all the time, and Terry's philosophy was, with a lot of time left, just take the point. You might want that point later on. There is a lot of time left in this one, but DuBose went for 2, and the 7-point lead came up short.
Yeah, I would tend to agree with that. At this point in the game, with this much time, go ahead and take the point.
Now the kickoff. Lane Bearden, and a good one. Bo Carroll, about 6 yards deep in the end zone. Takes a knee, and Florida will begin at the 20.
Once you look at the touchdown again, this is Keith Kelsey right here, the linebacker. He's just going to kind of get a little bit complacent on his coverage of Sean Alexander. When they run the bootleg, Alexander acts like he's really not the intended receiver, but Zhao comes back to him, and Kelsey just kind of took a nap a little bit, and Alexander ran right by him, and it was a perfect throw by Zhao. Again, good protection, allowed that play to take the time to develop, but Kelsey got beat on that play.
Bo Carroll, the running back, behind Doug Johnson. Carroll broke free from 1 tackler at the line of scrimmage and picked up 4.
I made this point earlier, and I really do think that Florida misses Ernest Graham because he's a physical runner. I don't think there's anything wrong with Bo Carroll or Robert Gillespie. They're very quick. They have good vision. They're speedy backs. But Ernest Graham had that ability to give him a little more toughness at that position. They haven't had a little bit of trouble running the football up inside against Alabama.
One score by the Florida offense. The other an interception return. There's the tight end, Aaron Kinney. Hasn't played much the last couple of weeks with a neck injury. In there now. Just his 3rd reception of the season to give Florida a first down out near the 37. Marvin Constant, Marcus Spencer, Tony Dixon all in on the stop on Kinney, the senior from Ashland, Virginia.
Take a look at the 3 backs. Ernest Graham was the leading carrier, and the good thing for Florida is that Gillespie and Carroll had gotten a lot of playing time, and so they weren't like they were just starting to get playing time when he got hurt. But he's a little different. Gillespie and Carroll are very similar in their styles. Graham a little more the physical guy.
Ball spotted at the 39, 1st and 10. Johnson throws, nice catch along the far sideline by Alex Willis. Close to another first down. There's Graham, not in uniform, just his game jersey on. I hope that he'll be back from the deep thigh bruise next week at LSU, a game we'll have for you here on CBS.
See the stretch by Willis. Great job catching the football with his hands, working on Reggie Miles. Outstanding catch by Willis, going up with his hands and catching the football. That's a hard throw, too. That ball's coming with a little zip on it. Reaches up there and spears it.
Second and inches. Bo Carroll running behind the left side of the line into the secondary. Into Bama territory with a first down. At the 37-yard line where Darius Gilbert made the stop. That's 14 more on the run for Carroll.
Alabama thinking pass a little more there. They've got their nickel defense in, and Bo Carroll does a nice job running behind that offensive line, finding a nice hole in there, a nice seam, and using his speed.
Junior from Norristown, Pennsylvania. Now is 60 yards rushing on just 5 carries. Well, they'll try him again. And he's to the 33-yard line. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, earlier Bo Carroll said his mother, Geraldine, is his mentor. In 1992, she suffered a stroke that left her partially paralyzed and in a nursing home. And that left Bo without a permanent residence and even homeless for several months as a teenager. Now, Bo is on obviously solid ground now, but his mom continues to struggle. And while he rarely gets to see her, he calls her his inspiration, Sean.
He does indeed. After that stroke, Bo was raised by a variety of relatives. Then when he was 15, as Michelle said, on the street for a while before some coaches and teachers took over legal guardianship. Here's Kurt Wells, the backup tight end, with just his second catch of the season. They don't throw to the tight end very often, and they're fooling Alabama with the throws to Kinney, and now Wells on this drive. That's 14 more and another first down inside the 20-yard line.
Here's Wells right here. He's just going to show block. It's a delay throw to the tight end. Watch him sit in there, sell the block, and then slip out. Design play, and it did catch the Alabama defense by surprise. Nice play call by Steve Spurrier, hitting an unused target, the tight end.
Wells, a redshirt freshman from Riverdale, Georgia, just 216 pounds. He's been trying everything he can to gain weight, and he can't. Wouldn't that be a nice problem for most of us to have?
Absolutely.
Ball just inside the 19. Back and forth. Go the Gators and Tide with lead exchanges. Alabama just reclaimed the lead moments ago. Now it's Florida threatening inside the red zone. Flag down where you would expect a holding call. Johnson out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Steve Spurrier knew he was in for a battle today, and he's quite heated. He said, we have a lot of respect for Alabama, but there's not really the hatred or animosity that we have in other rivalries because we don't play them as often as we used to.
On the offense, because the run ended beyond the line, the penalty is marked from the spot of the foul. 10 yards, repeat first down.
Steve also said the other day, talent-wise, Alabama might be as good as anybody in the conference. Some took that as a dig at the Alabama coaching. He recognizes that these Alabama coaches have brought in some excellent young talent that is getting better as it gains experience. Here are the meetings in the 90s. Most of them in the SEC championship game. They met in the first 3 SEC title games.
Really exciting championship games, too. I mean, every time they got together, there was a lot of excitement in those games.
First and 27 now. The ball back at the 36-yard line. Man open. Willis down the sideline. Close to the first down at the 9-yard line. Alex Willis, a real study in perseverance in the program, walked on, was way down the depth chart for quite a while, and finally earned a scholarship and some playing time this season. And with the injury to Travis Taylor, he's become a much more important man.
There's Willis. Now, Alabama tried to fool Doug Johnson. They brought some guys up and then tried to move him out late. And nobody got deep enough with Alex Willis. Johnson hung in there, read the defense, was not fooled, and got the big throw.
First and goal from just inside the 9. Johnson to the end zone. Touchdown, Darrell Jackson. That gives them a 1-point lead. And now if you're Steve Spurrier, do you go for 2? Try and make it a 3-point lead. Or
they are going to go.
Time left, you just take the point. He's going to go for 2.
Darrell Jackson, the quick slant, got inside the coverage. Good series by Doug Johnson there. Made a couple big throws, good reads, single coverage to Darrell Jackson, and a good throw.
We've seen that shot of Steve before where he starts nodding just as the play's about to begin, like he knows if they execute,
he's got what he wants.
It'll be a touchdown, and
That's
you can
right.
see it in his face. 3 catches, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns for Jackson. Now the try for 2 and a 3-point lead. Wells, the tight end, lost the ball, but he was in first. That's a 2-point conversion for Florida. And a 3-point lead, 22-19. That was a little bit woozy as he got up. And the man who hit him, Milo Lewis, is still down. They might have gone just about helmet to helmet, it seemed.
That was quite a collision. Again, the tight end, seldom used very effectively in this scoring drive. And right at the goal line, the collision. The ball is all that has to cross the plane, and according to the head linesman, the ball did cross the plane for the conversion. Kirk Wells with 2 big plays on that scoring drive.
What an entertaining ball game this has been. Both Lewis and Wells on their feet now. 8 plays, 80-yard drive for Florida. It took 3 minutes and 4 seconds. And with 3:03 left in the third, the Gators lead by 3.
Why was Steve Spurrier smiling? Because he knew he had his best receiver, Darrell Jackson, isolated out here one-on-one against the corner. All that open green space, no help on the inside. Milo Lewis virtually helpless in that situation. Spurrier knew he had the right play called against the right defense.
Time now for our Rigid Tools Scholar Athlete of the Game. And our Scholar Athlete of the Game is Florida wide receiver Darrell Jackson, rising to the occasion in the classroom with a 3.17 grade point average in business administration. Rigid Tools' commitment to the investment in our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the University of Florida's General Scholarship Fund. Darrell Jackson, the junior from Tampa, Florida. He was a great basketball player at Tampa Catholic. Was offered dual scholarships, the opportunity to go to several top football, basketball schools to play both sports. He just wanted to concentrate on football. Billy Donovan offered him a tryout here for the basketball Gators, but he says he just wants to play football. Freddie Millens didn't even reach the 20. Chopped down at the 16-yard line by Darrell Owens, the reserve linebacker with excellent coverage on special teams. Darrell Jackson averaged 23 points a game when he was in high school as a basketball player. Sunday on 60 Minutes, see what happened to 2 cops who had the guts to break the unwritten code known as the Blue Wall of Silence. Don't miss 60 Minutes Sunday. Trouble, spins away. Now he's pursued by 3 Gators, finally throws incomplete. Looking for Antonio Carter. Thaddeus Bullard, who's the backup to Alex Brown, has really put more heat on the quarterback than Brown did when he was in there.
Thaddeus Bullard coming off the corner against Dante Ellington. Again, you see the strength of Andrew Zhao shaking off the tackle. And you know what? His receivers did a bad job for him here. When the quarterback scrambles, the receivers have to adjust and make a move, go downfield, separate. His receivers just kind of stood there waiting to see what he was going to do with the football, and he had nowhere to throw it.
That was thrown for 212 yards. Averaged 154 passing yards a game coming in. Alexander trying to make something out of nothing. He got belted back after a gain of 1. It'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Tide. Andre Davis and Keith Kelsey put the pop on Alexander.
Sean not having a great running game, but still very much an instrumental part of what Alabama is doing. Caught the big touchdown pass, more yards receiving than running the football. And he's going to get a lot of attention by Florida wherever he lines up and wherever he goes.
5 receivers spread the field on 3rd and 8. Corner blitz. Zhao throws, caught. What a catch by Millens. He slipped down. It appeared just before the ball arrived, and he was actually sitting when the ball landed right in his lap for a first down after a gain of 14 out to the 31-yard line.
Here's going to be the blitz. It's not a full blitz, though. It's a zone blitz. Manuel's going to come from the strong safety position, but they're going to actually drop into zone. So there's only 4 people rushing, so Zhao doesn't have to get rid of it early. Does a nice job hanging in there and waiting for something to uncover.
Another key 3rd down conversion for Alabama. Now trailing by 3 in the final minute and 20 seconds of the 3rd. Tied at its own 31. Zhao throws, deflected, up for grabs, and almost caught on the ricochet. Keith Kelsey deflected it. Freddie Millens dove for it. Boy, Zhao has nervous feet right now.
Yeah, he does. He still does. Even though he made the big touchdown throw to Alexander, he's still a little bit nervous in there. And again, Florida's given him mostly zone defense. They're making him stay in the pocket and read it.
We were told by the Alabama coaches that they would stick with their plan of the first few weeks of the season and play Tyler Watts, the freshman, for at least one series, but we haven't seen him today. Sean Bohannon, the one back now, as Alexander gets a breather. Quick pass to Millens. He cut it inside. And got stopped at the 36. Looked like he had blockers to the outside.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But he ran back toward the bulk of the defense, and Daryl Dixon took him down.
There's a couple other receivers out there to try to provide an escort for Millens. He thought he saw something inside. All that was inside were Gators, though.
So another big 3rd down. They're 9 out of 15 on 3rd down today. 3rd and 5 in the final seconds of the 3rd. And it's 5 or less. They've made 6 of 8. They pitch to Alexander. Another conversion on 3rd down for the Tide as Alexander advanced the ball to the 44-yard line.
What a nice call by Charlie Stubbs. They haven't shown the shovel pass. They haven't shown anything different like this. They try to invite the upfield rush. Now, Mitchell actually does a pretty good job playing this play, but Alexander just breaks the arm tackle of the defensive back Cromartie. Florida was in position to make the play, just not going to bring Sean Alexander down without a good solid tackle.
That will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. With the score, Florida 22 and Alabama 19. We'll return to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium right after this message and a word from your local station. Florida with a 3-point lead as we head to the 4th quarter. Go! 1st and 10 Alabama. Zhao after the fake had to get rid of it quickly. Antonio Carter, good move. He's across midfield with another 1st down. And Todd, you have to admire this Alabama team regardless of how it turns out. They put up a spirited battle all day long, and you can really see when the coaches talk about the talent on this team emerging. Yeah. It is.
Well, they've got a lot of good young talent. They've got an experienced offensive line that has really played well today. And Andrew Zhao, what more can you say? Every time it looks like the game's starting to get away from him and the pressure's going to get to him, he comes up and makes another play on 3rd down. Great 3rd down conversions for the Alabama offense today.
And credit to the beleaguered Alabama coaching staff. They've had a good plan on both sides of the ball today. Sean Alexander thrown for a loss. Back to the 45-yard line. Just one loss for Florida in Steve Spurrier's 10 years when the Gators have been ahead after 3 quarters. And that was the last home loss to Auburn in 1994. Second down and 15. Four-man rush. Zhao with time has a man wide open. Millens, 1st down. Inside the 15-yard line. Marquand Manuel made the tackle, and you've been talking about it all day. The offensive line doing a great job giving Zhao time, and he found Millens for 32 there.
And I really think John Hoke may have to make some changes and say, you know what? He's beating us with all this zone. He's hanging in there. He's reading our coverage, and he's making throws. We're going to need to change up and come after the guy. Try to pressure him and put some pressure on him, because right now, with the zone defense Florida's given him, Andrew Zhao is making it happen for Alabama.
John Hoke in his first year as the defensive coordinator here, took over for Bob Stoops. Went on to immediate success at Oklahoma as head coach. Alexander up the middle, and Andre Davis made the stop. And it seems like Davis is in on virtually every tackle on the running plays. John Hoke came after 5 years with Larry Smith as the secondary coach at Missouri. Native of Kettering, Ohio, is Hoke, near Dayton. Very impressive man when you speak with him. Obviously an excellent football coach and very popular guy already with his defensive players.
I'd like to see Alabama try to get the ball to Terry Jones Jr. here, the tight end, off play action.
This could be a pass back to the quarterback. It's well defended. Zhao couldn't catch it. They didn't fool Robert Cromartie. He stayed right out there, saw Zhao coming, and lined up for the deflection.
Yeah, good discipline by Cromartie. As a quarterback, if you're running this play, you're hoping maybe just if I go halfway out there, maybe they'll forget about me. But Cromartie stayed right at home and defended it. And give credit to Zhao for going up and making a play on the football, not letting it get intercepted, even though Cromartie was there to make the play.
Alabama with yet another third down. 3rd and 10 at the 14-yard line of Florida. Florida leads by 3. Sean Bohannon in the game, and he's split out. Alexander's gone to the sideline. Zhao, and again just a 4-man rush. Throws to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! Antonio Carter puts Bama back up.
Sean, I'm really surprised they didn't go after him again. They just rushed 4, and this offensive line for Alabama is too good. They're not getting to Andrew Zhao with only 4 people. Watch how much time Zhao has to hang in there, to step up in the pocket, to read the defense, and then make the throw. Antonio Carter proving that he is another go-to guy along with Freddie Millens, 2 very young, talented players.
And the extra point good from Kemp. And Alabama leads by 4. 12.5 minutes remaining in Gainesville.
Alabama on top by 4. 5 wide receivers, 4 on one side. This is Antonio Carter. Watch him drift in there. The only reason he gets to the open area is because of the protection. He's not open when he immediately stops his route. He just keeps drifting. But Zhao had so much time to let him get to that open area. They make the touchdown catch. Great protection.
6 catches today for 58 yards for Carter. He had 3 catches for his career coming into today's game. Bo Carroll out to the 28-yard line. John Hoke not pleased that again it was a long ball control drive for Alabama. 12 plays, 84 yards. He just can't get his defense off the field. They were on for 5 minutes and 33 seconds on that Alabama drive.
There's 2 big-time players on the defensive line, Gerard Warren and Alex Brown. They both needed to step up in this ball game, and neither one has really made many plays today. Alabama's offensive line has neutralized those 2 players.
Bo Carroll, the back behind Doug Johnson. Johnson throws to Jackson, caught for a first down. To the 40-yard line, Tony Dixon made the stop. Gain of 12. Four catches, 105 yards receiving now for Darrell Jackson. That's his 3rd straight game of 100 receiving yards or more. Under 12 minutes remaining. Johnson with all day to throw. Throws a strike, caught for another first down in Alabama territory. At the 45-yard line, Alex Willis hit by Reggie Miles.
mentioned the numbers for Darrell Jackson today. He has really stepped up ever since Travis Taylor's been hurt. Caught the long touchdown pass earlier in the first quarter. 6 foot, 201 pounds. He's got some physical ability. Strong receiver. Got inside for the touchdown there. His second one has really become Doug Johnson's main guy.
Darrell Jackson didn't start playing football till his sophomore year in high school. Johnson over the middle. Bo Carroll tried to run before he caught it. Took his eye off it and dropped it. Pointing at himself. He knows that was certainly his fault.
We talked about the Alabama offensive line. The last 2 Florida possessions, the Gator offensive line doing a great job of stuffing that run. The rush, no rush by Alabama. Doug Johnson able to stand in there and make the throw. And again, Bo Carroll just a little too anxious to run.
Then up bluffing blitz. Just a 4-man rush. The throw wide of Rashae Caldwell. Johnson off target with that one. And he's gesturing at Caldwell. Didn't like the route apparently. The CBS Sportsline stat of the game, and look at the time of possession. 34 minutes to 13 in favor of Alabama. For complete college football coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com. Doug Johnson wants a timeout. Alabama's run twice as many plays as Florida. How about, well, we'll talk about it in a moment. But first, we're going to break for a commercial with 11:34 remaining here in Gainesville.
The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by Chevrolet Trucks, AXA Advisors, Sure Grip by Fram, and by 10-10-3-2-1.
Now 3rd down and 10. Steve Spurrier just used another timeout, so the Gators have just one left. 11:34 remaining at the Alabama 45-yard line. Out of the shotgun, Johnson throwing up his back foot. Another catch made by Alex Willis. First down, Gators at the 22. Herschel Bolden and Marcus Spencer were near Willis, but he made the catch in traffic.
Great job by Willis adjusting to the football, because this ball was thrown early, but it was thrown behind the receiver. Watch him turn, get his body around, and catch the ball with his hands. A great adjustment to the football by Alex Willis. Not a very well thrown ball by Doug Johnson, but thrown early enough that the defense couldn't react to it.
5 catches, 81 yards for Willis. Best game of his career here at the University of Florida. The inside handoff to Bo Carroll, and he went nowhere. Kenny King tripped him up behind the line of scrimmage. The true freshman from Daphne, Alabama, made a big play. Sean McDonough with Todd Blackledge and Michelle Tafoya sold out Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Florida's 30-game home winning streak on the line in this battle with Alabama, featuring 6 lead changes. 2-1 edge in number of plays run for Alabama. A decided edge in time of possession. There's one big mistake on a Zhao interception return for a touchdown. Johnson throws incomplete for Bo Carroll. Broken up by Darius Gilbert. For those who joined us late after a fumble, Chris Kemp gave Alabama the lead. Florida on the very next play from scrimmage, a 73-yard touchdown pass. The run by Alexander early in the second quarter gave Alabama the lead. It was extended on a Kemp field goal, and that was the score at halftime. But then the key mistake by Zhao, returned by Benny Alexander to give Florida the lead. Sean Alexander on a 47-yard pass from Zhao put Bama on top. Then Florida scored on the Jackson reception and completed a 2-point conversion, but Carter had a catch, and the extra point made it a 4-point lead for Alabama. That's where we are now from the 25. 3rd down and 12. Johnson throws short, and they're going to spot the ball down back at the 21-yard line. In either event, it was going to be well short of the first down. Darius Gilbert credited with the tackle on Bo Carroll. And it's at the 21-yard line, so they need about 7.5 yards. This is the largest crowd ever at the Swamp, 85,721. A 20 Largest crowds in the history of the state of Florida for sporting events, college or pro, have all been here at the Swamp. And that's the last timeout for Florida. They burned all of them with 9:47 left. But it is a crucial play. 4th and 7 upcoming when we come back. Well, this is very interesting. After the timeout, the offense had run onto the field for Florida. Just after running on the field, they came back, and now the field goal unit is on for Florida. Right in the middle of the field, Jeff Chandler with his first miss of the season earlier today. And that one's good from 37 yards out. It's a 1-point lead for Alabama with 9:42 left.
The only thing I can think of, Sean, because I was watching Steve Spurrier in the huddle during that timeout, and it looked like he was calling a play and setting it up. The only thing I can think of is he wanted to see what personnel Alabama came out with. If they came out with a certain defensive personnel group, he was going to run his play because he had the play he wanted. Alabama must have come out with something he didn't like, settled for the field goal.
9-play drive for the Gators, 51 yards. It ends in a 37-yard field goal. Big difference for Steve in previous years when they did not have a dependable kicker. Now they do with Chandler. Friday on CBS. The New York Daily News says strap yourself in and go along for the ride. See what people are talking about. Don't miss an all-new Now and Again Friday on CBS. Jeff Chandler, junior from Jacksonville, telecommunications major, former walk-on who earned a scholarship this fall. Really solidified their kicking game last year at Alabama when he took over for Collins Cooper after Cooper's miss in the overtime at Tennessee. Kicked 3 field goals in their win with Tuscaloosa. He's been rock solid ever since. Antonio Beard back at the goal line along with Freddie Millens. Good kick by Chandler. No chance for Millens. About 7 or 8 yards deep. Well, this is nothing new for Alabama. Tide fans used to the high wire act. Last seconds of the game 2 weeks ago in Birmingham against Louisiana Tech. The Bulldogs score on a touchdown reception by Sean Cangelosi. Louisiana Tech won by 1. Then last week here on CBS, Arkansas's last-ditch throw into the end zone fell to the ground, incomplete, and Bama held on for the 7-point win. Largest crowd ever here, as loud as ever, and that might have led to the confusion along the line of scrimmage.
Will Cuthbert, the right guard, moved early on that play. Alabama has used a lot of quick counts today, and it's been pretty effective. They've not allowed Alex Brown to get in his stance and get off the ball.
Ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Watch right here. Watch the play start, and Will Cuthbert starts into his move a little bit early before the ball is snapped. And again, another one of those before the whistle penalties that Mike Dubois says they've really worked hard to try to correct this week. Very important for Andrew Zhao to maintain his composure right here. Even if they have to punt the football, be smart with the football, keep your team under control.
Deafening noise. Alexander through a decent-sized hole that closed up quickly when Marquand Manuel filled it. Andre Davis there again to greet Alexander. He got the penalty yardage back to the 20. It'll be 2nd down and 10. 62 yards rushing for Alexander. The longest home winning streak that is active in college football. He's in danger of becoming inactive. These fans doing their best to make sure that doesn't happen. Under 9 minutes left. No timeouts left for Florida. Alabama has 2 remaining. Out of the gun. Millens. First down. Big gainer out to the 42-yard line where Eugene McCaslin made the tackle. 22 yards on the pickup for Freddie Millens.
Millens and Antonio Carter are so good with the ball after the catch. They both have such quick feet. Watch Millens when he catches the ball, how quickly he gets upfield. A couple moves, he's quickly up the field behind the blocking of his guard, Griff Redmill, in there, and a big gain, 22 yards. But he's so quick with his feet after he catches the football.
95 yards receiving now. Millens on the verge of back-to-back 100-yard days. Dustin McClintock powering out across the 45 to the 46. Gain of 4. Last man to reach 100 yards receiving in consecutive games, the great Ozzie Newsome, back in November of 1977. For the most part, they kept the ball on the ground over the years.
Yeah, they have. They've had some good quarterbacks, too. And for the most part, they did run it, and run it well.
Millens himself, a high school quarterback, threw the pass last week. Mike Dubois says he can envision times in the future where they'll line him up behind the center in a quarterback position. Zhao pitches to Bohannon. Alex Brown, one of his few big plays today. We've called his name very little. And Todd, it seemed to me, and Brown had a monster game on national television against Tennessee, but he was getting an awful lot of hype, really based on 2 games, that game and the game last week against Kentucky.
Yeah, and on this play, he makes a good read. You want this play if that guy's coming up the field hard and coming at your quarterback. But Alex Brown did a nice job of reading this play and actually being able to defend both the quarterback and the pitch man. You don't expect him to be able to defend both players on that.
3rd and 6. They're 11 for 17 on 3rd down. 4 out of 8 from this distance. The pitch. Flag down. Terry Jones Jr., the tight end, with a first down if it stands, but there was a flag thrown in the middle of the line of scrimmage.
This could be a crucial penalty on Alabama. I think it's going to be holding on the opposite side of the play. But a perfect play call by Charlie Stubbs. They got the upfield rush by Thaddeus Bullard. Exactly what you want on a shovel pass. Get him up the field and then come right underneath him.
Boy, is that the hold in the middle of the screen?
Will Cuthbert, the right guard, it appears, number 72, is who they flag. Let's watch again on the inside. No, the center, Paul Hogan, did a takedown on Gerard Warren, but it was a pretty quick movement. It looked like he just had very good leverage.
It looked like he really just shoved him down, and then he held him and threw him down. Steve Spurrier, and you read Mike Dubois' lips saying that's awful. Steve Spurrier, vocal about the officiator last week. He said they shouldn't make calls to decide the game unless it's blatantly obvious. That might be one that went in his favor. Remember, Millens used to be the quarterback. He wants to throw this one away. The Florida sideline complaining that that was 2 forward passes, and they get the flag very late. I tell you what, that's another very late flag that you wonder if it was influenced by the Florida sideline, because that took forever to come out. In any event, it's going to be 4th down either way because the pass was incomplete. That's a huge holding call, and to me, what looked like a very iffy call, especially at this juncture.
Intentional grounding on the offense. Lost it down at this spot. 4th down.
Well, the line of scrimmage, the 35. Let's see if Millens is behind Zaldo when he makes the catch. Sure he is. That's not a second forward pass.
They call it intentional grounding.
Is that what it was?
There's a receiver.
Yeah, that's not a good call either. There's a receiver right there. Snapper late coming onto the field. Bradley Ledbetter. Clock down to 1. A problem along the line of scrimmage, and the Gators are going to take over at the 25-yard line. There's a flag on the play. A flag thrown along the line of scrimmage. Ledbetter late running onto the field. There was a bad snap that struck Marvin Brown. But what's the flag all about?
Procedure on the offense. Penalty refused.
Well, there's the second potentially critical mistake by Alabama.
Because of the crowd noise, Sean, Marvin Brown is trying to make sure the protection is communicated. Watch him right in the middle, number 6. He steps up once. Now he's going to step up again to make sure the call is right. And the center snapped the ball. Did not hear the cadence. Snapped it right into the personal protector. Credit that one to the crowd here in the Swamp.
And Steve very calm over that turn of events. Now he's already in field goal range to take the lead. Mike Dubose undoubtedly still fuming about that holding call that certainly changed the complexion of the last couple of minutes. Robert Gillespie inside the 20, lunges for the first down marker, and he's close, out of bounds at the 16-yard line.
Take one more look at the holding call. Let's see if it was on Paul Hogan on the inside. He's blocking on Gerard Warren. You can see the left hand on the back of the jersey of Warren, and he threw him down. It didn't look like a great effort by Warren to make a move, but the hand was on the back of the jersey. His hands were not inside, which the offensive lineman is taught to try to keep his hands on the inside.
Well, I think
Tough
back
call.
to Steve Spurrier's words from last week. The officials shouldn't decide the game. They should only call it unless it's blatantly obvious, has a big effect on the play. Otherwise, they should just let players play. Well, he benefited from one of those calls that he didn't like against his team last week in Kentucky. That prompted that outburst. The measurement yields the first down. Tonight on CBS, America's Night of Heroes is all new, beginning with Early Edition. Then Sammo Hung and Arsenio must stop the great train robbery on martial law. Followed by Chuck Norris and Walker, Texas Ranger. It's all new, and it's all tonight on CBS. Still 6:03 remaining in this one. 1st and 10, Gators at the Tide 15. Last year against Alabama, they had a terrible time in the red zone, including 3 fumbles inside the 3-yard line. Gillespie. And the players jumping on him thinking the ball was out. He had it. Salim Rashid took him down.
Alabama defense has played very well today. The Gators have 25 points, but one of those touchdowns, an interception returned by Benny Alexander. And yet now Mike Dubose depending on that defense one more time here with 5.5 minutes left in the ball game.
Second down and 9. Johnson with lots of time to the end zone. Caught. Darrell Jackson with his 3rd touchdown of the game, and a terrific catch on a ball thrown behind him, and Florida leads again.
Doug Johnson has really thrown the ball well here in the second half. Quick read. He sees Jackson right into the open area between the safeties. And again, Jackson, a nice adjustment on the football to catch it with his hands. Steve Spurrier got the touchdown, electing to go for 2 now.
And Alabama perhaps surprised by Florida lining up to go for 2. I don't know why they would be surprised. Burns a timeout. That could be critical for their team down the stretch here. 5:15 remaining with a 2-point try upcoming. Florida going for 2 for a 7-point lead. They converted earlier on a 2-point conversion on a pass to the tight end.
You made a good point too, Sean. Alabama fooled by the 2-point conversion, had to waste another timeout, leaves them only 1 left here for the final 5 minutes of the ball game.
Well, they should have been ready for the 2-point try. At this juncture, you would try to get ahead by 7. Johnson throws in traffic, flag down. It's caught by Brian Hoggebrook. Now they ruled an incomplete pass, but it is perhaps pass interference on Alabama as Hoggebrook was tangled with the defender.
Working on a freshman, Gerald Dixon, a guy they're very high on, out of Burtonville, Maryland.
Try the defense. We'll go half the distance and try it again.
Move the ball down to the 1.5-yard line, but here again, single coverage, the quick slant, two-step drop, and throw the football. Gerald Dixon just on the backside of the receiver.
So the one official was signaling that it was a catch. The other one came running in and said it was incomplete. Now they pitch it to Bo Carroll, virtually untouched. He gets the 2 points, and the lead is 7 for the Gators with 5:15 left.
Great job by Doug Johnson going on the quick count. They got out of the huddle, they snapped the ball quickly, and Alabama's defense had no chance to respond to the quick toss to the sideline. Watch how quickly they snap the football. Alabama's still trying to get set on defense, and Carroll is able to walk into the end zone. Good use of the snap count that time by Doug Johnson. Guiding that one in.
It's Billy Young next to him who signals in the plays. And they put him on scholarship this year as a senior. I imagine he could write an interesting book. Oh boy, at least a lengthy magazine piece about all that he's witnessed being alongside Steve Spurrier over these many years.
Plus, he almost, I don't know what he's majoring in, but he almost has to be a coach. He's probably absorbed so much just standing next to Spurrier for all these games and years.
Bo Carroll with the 2-point conversion. But a lot of time left in this one. Only one timeout left for either team. It belongs to Alabama. Here's Jeff Chandler to kick off. Line drive kickoff. Picked up by Millens at the 5. Trying to get outside at the 25. And he runs out of bounds at the 31-yard line. Nice return by Millens. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, join Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry for all the latest NFL news. Plus Marcus Allen looks at the Jacksonville Jaguars' powerful running game with Florida Gator. Fred Taylor now leading their rushing attack. James Stewart there as well. Randy Cross reports on the AFC Championship rematch between the Jets and the Broncos. How they can turn their seasons around. It's all coming up tomorrow at noon Eastern, the NFL Today. And for all the scores and highlights, stay with the guys for the NASDAQ halftime report. Alabama huddled at the sideline. Now brings them out right over the ball. With the spread set. 4-man rush. Bullard couldn't pull him down. He's in trouble from behind. He throws. Caught by Millens to the 47-yard line of the Florida Gators. Bullard couldn't get the sack. A 22-yard completion. And what a game this has been. Lead changes aplenty and all kinds of momentum shifts and big plays.
You know what? Watching Andrew Zhao the first couple weeks of this season, he didn't do a whole lot to impress me, but he has impressed me today. His ability to maintain his poise, to use his strength to shake off tacklers, and to make throws downfield. He has done a marvelous job today in a very hostile environment for a young quarterback.
With that catch, Millens over 100 yards again. For the second straight week. First man since Ozzie Newsome to do that at Bama. Zhao throws a little low. Had the man open. He's trying to thread that through a couple of defenders. Looking for Antonio Carter. The pass short. It'll be 2nd and 10.
Let's go back to the touchdown to go ahead. All Doug Johnson is doing is he's eyeballing this safety right here. He's going to watch how he reacts. If he goes outside at all, he knows he has Jackson coming in behind him on the post. As soon as he saw Spencer flatten a little bit to the outside, he knew where he was going with the football. I watched him on the practice field, and that was one of the things Steve Spurrier was really going after him. Keep your eyes on that safety. Know what he's doing from the time you tighten your drop. Doug Johnson, a very impressive game today as well for the Gators.
2nd and 10. Zhao throws short. Carter will try to do the work with his feet. Could not. No gain on the play. Driven back by Andre Davis. Marquand Manuel also jumped on the pile. And yet another 3rd down for Alabama. This one will be 3rd and 10. With 4 minutes remaining, the clock is running.
Carter has done some nice things for Alabama today. That time made maybe a freshman mistake. tried to get a little too fancy and make a big play rather than just trying to get straight up the field and get something out of that play. It was well defended by the Gators. Now it brings up 3rd and 10.
Zhao telling his troops to get up there quickly. It took a long time to get that play in from the sideline. The play clock at 2 as they snap it. Zhao in traffic throws short of Carter to be 4th and 10. Zhao knocked down after he threw it.
And I think that play, as much as anything, was the result of the fact that they were slow getting the play called. He was under duress from the time he got to the line of scrimmage. He had to hurry up the snap. He didn't have time to read the defense in a pre-snap read, and then he hurried to throw and made a bad throw.
3:33 left. Alabama with just 1 timeout. They burned one a moment ago to get ready defensively for the 2-point try by Florida. Patrick Morgan, undoubtedly Florida will be alert to a possible fake with this field position and the situation of the game. Darrell Jackson back for the punt. Morgan will punt it away. High but short. Jackson muffed it. It's free at the 22-yard line.
The infamous scrum. There's a whole lot of fighting going on down in the bottom of the pile right now.
The Alabama players think they have it. No signal from the officials. Now it is Alabama's ball at the 22-yard line. Looked like Marvin Brown was at the bottom of the pile to recover. Of course, he was the man hit by the snap moments ago. That was a huge play that led to the Gators taking the lead.
What an irony. The ball, the last punt, went off of him, creating the turnover, setting up Florida for the go-ahead touchdown. Now Jackson, a short punt, moved up on it in position.
Well, they're very close to not giving him enough room to make that catch, too. It's supposed to be a 2-yard radius. Zhao pitches to Alexander, trying to break a tackle. Robert Cromartie late tackled him after a gain to the 17. Next Saturday here on CBS Sports, you'll see these Gators again at LSU. The Tigers trying to bounce back from that heartbreaking loss today at Georgia. That's next Saturday, 3 Eastern. The last time the Gators ventured there was a big upset for LSU. Volkswagen College football today gets our coverage started at 3 Eastern time. 2nd and 6 out of the shotgun. Zhao flushed from the pocket. In trouble. Throws. Caught by Millens. He struggles to the 14. Couple of yards short of the first down. Manuel made the tackle. Millens with double digits in receptions now. 10 catches, 120 yards.
Again, Andrew Zhao doing a nice job buying himself some extra time and finds his receiver Millens on the move. The only thing I'd like to see Alabama do a better job of right now is get the play called and in and out of the huddle quicker so they don't have to waste another timeout. The play clock down inside of 10 right now. Give Andrew Zhao a chance to read the coverage in the pre-snap.
Which he didn't have a moment ago. They snap it with 3. It's an inside handoff. Alexander knocked down, and this will be a crucial spot. It looks like they're going to spot him down short. He bounced forward with the ball, but they are going to mark him down at the 13, and it's going to be 4th down. And Alabama is going to use its last timeout. With a minute and a half left, it really does come down to this play. If they don't convert, it's over. And we'll be back for the critical 4th down play. Florida leads by 7 with a minute and a half remaining in Gainesville. Scintillating action throughout this afternoon in north central Florida. Florida's 30-game home winning streak on the line today. And Mike DuBose, bringing the Alabama team here for the first time since 1991, has seen his team put up a courageous performance. But now they're facing another must-convert situation. Todd, 4th and 1 at the 13-yard line. And it's a long one, almost a yard and a half.
If I'm Alabama and Charlie Stubbs, I think give the ball to 37 and run behind number 60.
They give it to Alexander. First down. And he goes in for the touchdown.
Touchdown
go for one and the extra point to tie.
Watch the push up front by Alabama. Good block by McClintock, and then just broken tackles by Sean Alexander. He's done it all day. He hasn't had a huge day running, but when they've needed him to make a play, he's made a play.
A critical extra point try for Chris Kemp. Right down the middle. And they're tied at 33 with 1:25 left. Neither team has a timeout. And Todd, we think back to the point that was raised in the third quarter, midway through the quarter, when Mike DuBose scored a touchdown. Alabama scored a touchdown. Mike DuBose elected to go for two. We said at the time, maybe then you just go for the one and take the 6-point lead. You might want that point later. He'd like that point now.
Yeah, he sure would. No
of course, the game would have been played differently on each side since then, too, in terms of Florida's gone for two a couple of times since.
But what an answer by Alabama. Unbelievable answer. Andrew Zhao and Sean Alexander.
Mike DuBose trying to be the first head coach with a last name other than Bowden to win against Steve Spurrier here at the Swamp. The last victory by an opposing team was in '94 on that touchdown pass. Frank Sanders, Patrick Nix. Auburn, coached by Terry Bowden, defeated the Gators and come from behind fashion. The only other loss suffered by Spurrier in his 10 years here. The previous year in '93 to Charlie Ward and the Florida State Seminoles, coached of course by the legendary Bobby Bowden.
We showed the flashback of the last 2 weeks a little bit ago, and I mean, if you're an Alabama fan, you're getting your money's worth as far as excitement from this team this year. 3 weeks in a row in the same kind of situation into the final minute.
Could be a situation where they need to win to save the job of Mike DuBose. As rumors continue to circulate. With a loss today, he could be fired immediately. Lane Bearden will kick off. Bo Carroll from the 2. Upended at the 20-yard line. Philip Weeks made the tackle. And Todd, I think that would be the wrong thing to do. Apparently, with an open week upcoming, there's been some talk in Alabama. They need to resolve the coaching situation now for recruiting to set for the future. And they do have an off week, so they could settle down the program, they think, for 2 weeks before the next game. But it's obvious from a talent standpoint, this program's a lot better than when he came in, had to deal with the sanctions that he inherited as the head coach. The performance today, they've been well coached on both sides of the ball.
They were good last week, but they've been better today.
I mean, this was all the stuff in the summer, then they should have fired him then. They didn't make the decision to do that. They should at least give him the rest of the season now, I would think. 1st and 10. Johnson throws short. Gillespie hustles to the sideline. Both teams been a little careless with burning timeouts. And it could have been a factor each way. It might be a non-factor either way, too. Now, Bailey chased Gillespie out of bounds.
Tough situation for Ellis Johnson now. Do you rush 3? Do you rush 4? Do you try to pressure Doug Johnson? Doug Johnson has had a very good game throwing the football. They've not gotten much pressure on him. Looks like Alabama lining up for another 3-man rush here. Going to drop 8 into coverage.
Johnson throws, dropped. That came out of the arms of Darrell Jackson. One of the very few mistakes he's made this season.
Normally very sure-handed. This time he let the ball get into his body a little bit. Wasn't able to get his hands on the football. And how often do you see a receiver when he doesn't catch it with his hands, he lets it get to the body, hits those shoulder pads, and bounces back out of there.
And now a big 3rd down play. 3rd and 4. Gators at their own 27. Just a 3-man rush. Inside handoff, a good call. They get the first down with Gillespie. Out to the 37. Bear in mind, all they need is a field goal to win. And Chandler's proven that he has range out around 50 yards. He could kick a long one.
And the good thing in college football, the clock stops till they reset the chain. So it works like you have a timeout. You're able to communicate the play at the line of scrimmage and only take a few seconds before the next snap.
Gators from their own 37. 48 seconds left. 3-man rush again. Pass caught. Rashae Caldwell getting closer to field goal range. At the 45-yard line of Alabama, an 18-yard gain. They're playing very soft here up front, Todd. Just a three-man rush the last couple of plays.
Three-man rush. They're bringing in all new defensive linemen, trying to get fresh bodies in there. Ellis Johnson deciding I'm better off trying to keep 8 guys in coverage, make them throw short, don't give up a big play down the heart.
Well, the strategy most of the day worked very well. Johnson throws, dropped again by Jackson in traffic. He got laid out by Marcus Spencer on the sideline. But it looked like the ball was gone before the hit. Jackson just couldn't pull it in on the fingertips.
This is a cover 2 zone right in between the corner and the safeties where you want to throw the football. It was a good throw, but a great break on the football by Marcus Spencer to separate the ball from the receiver. But
second and 10 now at the 45-yard line. 27 seconds left. Tie game. Neither team with a timeout. And a flag thrown by the referee in the offensive backfield. He's counting the number of players, and he just wants to be certain he was correct.
Before the snap, illegal substitution on the offense. They broke the huddle with 12 people.
Well, at this stage of the game where the field position is critical with an eye toward a potential game-winning field goal, that 5 yards, very important. It pushes them back to the 50-yard line.
Right here, watch Rashay Caldwell trying to, actually down. Nope.
They definitely have 12. You can count them right there.
Gonna get somebody open that way.
Yeah, it helps your chances if you can get away with it. The officials right on top of it. Second and 15. This time they bring pressure. It's a blitz, and Johnson's down in the arms of Chris Horn.
For the first time, they come after Doug Johnson. A perfectly timed blitz by Ellis Johnson. He waited to the right chance. He waited for the opportunity, and he brought 2 linebackers inside, and nobody's able to pick up Horn. And Doug Johnson can't elude pressure when it comes right up the middle like that.
And time expires. The fans boo. Had they been quicker to get over the ball, Florida could have tried a Hail Mary play of some type or another. Hope for a completion or at least a penalty. But Doug Johnson was looking to the sidelines, and all honesty, it didn't look like Steve Spurrier was really certain whether they should try another play or just settle for the result being decided in overtime.
I think they were both really surprised by that sack and the blitz because Alabama had not come after him. But it was the great call by Ellis Johnson at the right time. You take a chance of ending this game in regulation, plus knocking them out of any potential game-winning field goal try. Well called and very well executed by Horn. He timed it, and he got in there before anybody could touch him.
So we head to overtime. Still a relatively new phenomenon in college football. There will be a coin toss to get overtime started. The winner chooses to take the ball first or to defend. Usually when you win the toss, you want to go on defense because you want to see what happens when the other team has the ball. The team that starts overtime will begin at the 25-yard line of the opponent with 1 series. It's played just like regular football. If you get a first down, they advance the chains and you keep playing. Each team guaranteed of having it once. If they're still tied up to the first extra period, they go on and on and on until it is decided. Alabama 1-1 all time in overtime. Florida 0-1. And Florida lost memorable, of course, the Tennessee game last year in Knoxville.
And you have to believe, even though Alabama has played marvelously today, that this situation favors Florida. They're at home. They're more proficient at throwing the football in the red zone than Alabama has been.
Determine which end to play in, who goes on offense first, okay? You're going to call it again, all right? Are you ready? Head. You call it head, Captain. It is a head. You can go on offense, defense, or choose an end. Defense, and which end would you like to play in?
Apparently they let Doug Johnson make the decision on what end to go to. Steve Spurrier, the coaching staff, didn't give him any advice because he looked around and made that decision.
Chose to go on defense. Florida chose to play at that end of the field. We'll put the ball on the 25, 1st and 10.
Usually when you win, you decide to go on defense because if Florida scores 3, then Alabama knows it needs at least 3. If they score 7, they need 7. You know what you need to do when you get the ball. Back for overtime in a moment. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Michelle Tafoya back at the Swamp. Suddenly very silent. Over the years, not only has Florida won virtually every home game under Spurrier, but they've won by an average of 27 points. So these fans are not used to even seeing close games. Very quiet on the first snap. Gillespie following the fullback, Rob Roberts, for just a yard to the 24. 80 yards rushing for Robert Gillespie now in just 9 carries. He's been replaced by Bo Carroll. There's the margin of victory that we mentioned. Now they'll be satisfied with a win of any kind. Johnson throws. Rashay Caldwell gets a block from Bo Carroll. Marcus Spencer pulls him back at the 19. 4 yards, perhaps 4.5, short of a first down.
Nice play by Marcus Spencer. We've seen him make a couple big plays here in the 4th quarter. That time he read the middle screen very quickly, got over in position, and made a solid tackle on Caldwell for the short gain.
He was questionable right up until game time. Had to leave last week's victory over Arkansas with an oblique muscle strain in the abdominal area. Spotted the ball back near the 20. 3rd down and 5. First possession for either team in overtime. Johnson throws to Jackson. He has the first down. Pulled down by Kelp Bailey. Just inside the 12-yard line.
You got single coverage out here with Bailey. Bailey had a few problems last week against Arkansas. But that's tough for anybody. I don't care how talented you are. You're out there one-on-one with the big field. Tough to do much better than Bailey did on that play.
303 yards passing now for Johnson on 21 out of 30. John Capel, the motion man. Gillespie up the middle, down to the 5-yard line. 2nd and short upcoming there. Kenny Smith pulled him down. Nice mix of run and pass here on the first possession of overtime for Florida.
Nice job by Steve mixing the run and the pass, keeping the defense on their heels a little bit. They haven't had a great amount of success running the football today, but they're creating that indecision on the Alabama defense so far on this drive.
Gillespie running right, tries to cut back. Excellent pursuit and penetration by the Alabama front. And the play dropped for loss by Kenny King with help from Jason Jones, the safety.
Kenny King pursuing the play, does a nice job keeping it inside of him, staying with the play. Very aggressive inside player.
And a big play here. Alabama would love to hold to a field goal try. 3rd down and 4. Out of the gun. Johnson with a lot of time to the end zone. Caught! Touchdown, Rashay Caldwell. So Alabama must score a touchdown on its possession, or the game is over with a Florida victory. And the extra point still to come for the Gators.
Here's Caldwell in the slot. He's going to run to the corner. It's a timing throw. The safety can't get there in time. Tony Dixon, a bad angle to the football. And a good throw by Johnson.
And the extra point is missed. Jeff Chandler, so solid since taking over last year as the starting kicker, missed it wide to the right. So Alabama could win the game with a touchdown and the successful extra point.
You think it's automatic? You think you've got this thing right where you want it?
Close, but just wide right. Just the 2nd miss of an extra point by Chandler this year. He had one blocked against Central Florida.
And if there was any sense on the Alabama sidelines of a letdown because they gave up the touchdown, right away they know we got a chance to win it with this possession.
Sometimes when something like this happens, you feel like you're destined.
Here's the corner route here, and watch the angle taken by Dixon. He's not able to get there in time to make a play on the football, and it's a perfect throw by Doug Johnson.
Now Alabama begins its first try of the overtime on offense. Alexander running behind the fullback McClintock. He may go! Touchdown! Yards for Alexander. He goes over 100 yards again with that carry, 106. And now they can win it with a Chris Kemp extra point. He's the backup kicker. Ryan Flugner injured 2 weeks ago, but Kemp's been very steady the last couple of games. His kick is no good! Flag down on the play.
Florida was offside, Sean. They're going to get a chance to kick it again. It was offsides on Florida.
Offsides, defense. We'll go half the distance and retry.
The left side of the Florida defense was offsides. They jumped early. They got into the neutral zone and couldn't get back. Benny Alexander and Marquand Manuel on that side.
Kemp just pushed it wide right. Wow. Now have a chance from just a little bit closer. Patrick Morgan is the holder.
How narrow do those pipes look right now?
That kick is good, and Alabama wins. The longest active home winning streak in college football is over. Florida's home winning streak ended at 30 in a row. Sean Alexander stymied so often today, but as you said, Todd, when they needed a big play from him, he made them over and over again. And so much of life is about second chances. Chris Kemp got one and took advantage of it. Many would say Mike Dubose got one. Perhaps he's taking advantage of it. He's with Michelle.
Coach, it's almost impossible to think of a single question to ask you. Just your initial thoughts about this win, doing it in the swamp.
This is an outstanding football team we just beat, and first of all, you got to give God the credit, because God has pulled this football team together. He's been with us, and you can't say enough good things about these young men to come out and just keep fighting and keep believing, and they believe in themselves, and they do. And it's a team effort. They believe in team, and they understand each and every one of them's got a role to play, and they come out and they played it. I couldn't be prouder of them and happier for them.
Coach, I know you're happy, and I know that the excitement is taking over the moment, but I have to ask you, is it fair, given the wins that you've...
That's right, baby. God is awesome. I told you he's going to do it. Hey, he's got thing plans for us. God is awesome.
You're trying to save the coach right now from a tough question. Coach, is it fair right now, if they make a coaching change, given the advancements you've made in this program and the wins you've had in the last few weeks?
I don't know. You have to ask somebody else that question. I can't answer that. You know, we're going to come to work on Monday, get ready to go and play Ole Miss in 2 weeks from now. We don't worry about those things.
Do you feel you deserve to remain the coach here?
Well, again, we feel like we've got this program going in the right direction. We've made some mistakes, but again, that's somebody else's decision to make. That's not mine.
All right, was that Sean Alexander still around me? Here he is. Here's the guy that ran in the touchdown that set up the win. Getting congratulations from Doug Johnson. What an amazing game, and to be the guy who was held really in the first half, but to come out and provide the winning play.
Jeremiah Castile came in the FCA this week, and he talked about David and Goliath, and he said the main reason that David won because he had no fear, and he ran right at Goliath and took him on, and that was awesome. I mean, God is so good. We knew he was going to do something for us. This team got something special going into him, and I just thank God for it.
Do you want Mike DuBose to remain your head coach?
Yeah, why not? We're about to be the best in the SEC, God willing.
Congratulations. Let's send it back up to you, Sean.
Thank you, Michelle. What a classy gesture by Doug Johnson to come over and congratulate Alexander after a devastating loss for Florida. And amid rumors swirling that if Alabama lost, Mike DuBose would be out immediately. A big win for Bama that perhaps saves his job. And here's the mixed extra point. It turned out to be the difference in the game. And Chris Kemp missed one too, but Florida was offside. So Kemp got a second chance. And Alabama got its most dramatic win in a long time.
A missed field goal against Tennessee last year in overtime. A missed extra point in overtime this year against Alabama. Unbelievable.
Steve Spurrier leaves this field as a losing head coach for just the third time in 10 years. Alabama wins it in overtime. The final score, the Tide 40, the Gators 39. For Michelle DeFoy and Todd Blackledge, Sean McDonough saying so long from Gainesville.